Good. It says I'm live. At least I think I am. I'm looking on my on the channel that I have lined up that tells me whether it's live. Oh, and my phone's ringing as well. It's an awesome start to the show. There you go. Channel that I have lined up. Let me just remove this. Anyway, go to Raconteur's News. What can we do? What can we be told to do? What's going off here? Am I live or am I not? Just tell me if you can hear me. Because I've just been having some fucking proper problems with me broadband last few days. I don't know what's been going on. And it still says I've got nobody watching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say hello to some of the people in the chat room. Good evening to Apple Charlotte. You're in there. Nice to speak to you, Apple. If you want to come on again for tonight and have a bit of a chin wag, then just send me a message, and we'll get you on, because I think you were okay. You did okay last time. You did better than Leeds. Sorry, I have to pick me. Pulling your pants up. It's one of the, when you've only got one leg, it's one of the most funniest. It's the worst thing because you can't pull your pants up. Let me I'll reel back like this. There you go. So, as you can see, that's me not there leg, and that's me there leg. So that's still being wrapped up. And yes, good evening to you as well, Owen Lloyd Martin. You said you might come on. You said you might come on. So if Owen Lloyd and Apple Charlotte want to just come on, just come and have a chat with me, because we've got Boris as Prime Minister, and I honestly didn't think that would happen, but it seems we've got people that live in these heartlands that were caught. I think Brexit. Well, for me, it ended up being a second Brexit referendum. So, and it was even more empowering because you've got people. I look like I've got tits, don't I? You've got people who want to. They want Brexit, and they don't want anything else to do with any other Tory stuff, but they want Brexit, and that's what they voted for. And it was a second referendum, if in whatever way you want to put it. Jeremy Corbyn shot himself in the foot. We all know that. It was an election. It was designed to split people right down the middle. Only it didn't. It split people sort of 3/4 down the middle, and it just showed that the appetite we've got for Brexit in this country, because we all want it, and we're never going to get it, but we think we're going to get it at this point, but I don't think we are. So so if anyone wants to come on and have a chat with me about this, then do so. I did invite AD along. AD is of course a very busy man, and I think tonight he's polishing his tie wear. I think it's polishing his boots tonight, so he might not be able to get here. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome, Eve. You're welcome. So, here we go. There we go. Yeah, Owen, I sent you a message, mate. If you want to come on, you just click the link I've sent you in an email. Committed escaper. Good evening on to you. He says, Blaze fella, blazing stars. That's what they're referring to. Nice one. Tony Apple leads Cobby Jazz. I don't know what that means. I'm not a communist. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a communist, but I'm part of. I tell you what really has done me in. I mean, it is that I'm a Brexiteer, and I'm also somebody who's very reliant on the NHS. So, in order for me to have voted, if I did vote, which I didn't, but in order for me to vote, it would have been something hung because one was offering me Brexit in whatever fucking shape or form that's going to come in. We don't know. We ain't got a fucking clue, have we? The NHS and putting some money into the NHS, and I sort of lent that way simply because of my experience in hospital over this last year. It's not been a very nice experience. It's been a bad experience at the hands of the NHS, and that's not a dig at the people that work in the NHS, because I know that they're under an immense amount of pressure. I know some are cunts, and I do know that. I've witnessed it. Well, I would say cunts. I mean, people that have got their own got their own agenda. You know, they'll only do to a certain amount, and I could understand that as well. But I showed you the picture, didn't I? I showed you the picture of from my nose where they were bridging me back onto warfarin. So it's bridging. They take you off of warfarin, and so you can have the operation so that your INR, my blood thickness goes down to 1.5. So it's 1.5. It's 0.5 thinner. Well, I tell you what, Apple Charlotte, if you've got some bad stories, please come on and join me. It's just me tonight. There'll be no A-Day, so just let me know and I'll send you an email and get you in. But what I'm trying to say is that the morale I was on the same ward as I was last year when I had my leg removed, and I noticed from the start the difference in the staff, and it was even members of staff who I'd seen there and had been there for years and years, and the morale. In fact, I'm gonna have to have a fag. Sorry, everybody. I know I should be fucking smoking, but I ain't got no fucking weed or fuck all. So I'm gonna have a cigarette. So I'm just gonna make me send a cigarette while I'm saying this. But yeah. Let me find Apple Charlotte's email address. I think she wants to come on. I think I've got it. I know I've got it. Send items. Like that. Roboto, Luis Castro, Skimpy Chippy. 8 Hardy. Apple Charlotte. There we go. I'm going to send you a. I'm going to invite. Want to? I think everyone would love to hear you and see you. And it'd be nice to be on my own. Just email. If you accept it, then please do, because it will be it'll make more sense. But as I was saying, you're in the NHS. Everything's just fucking tits. It's honestly tits up. It's like that they have to do certain things. Oh, my buffering. I do apologise about that. Let me have a look. Well, my internet seems to be working, so I don't know how that's going to work. Hopefully it'll calm itself down. But yeah, you understand that even after a year, I notice, even from the same nurses that have got a different attitude. Nurses that last year they were at one particular nurse when I got to have me staples out of my stump. And there were one particular. I was supposed to be having it done at the. I was supposed to be having it done at. Oh yeah, my GP. My GP were going to come and pull out the staples, but it was just too painful. So they sent me to the hospital. I went to the hospital, and there was a woman, the woman who came to do me stumps had been looking after me while I was in hospital and been doing nights and stuff like that. And then when I went to the hospital just to have me staples out, it happened to be that nurse, and she went, "Oh, I was good because I think I were released on a Friday." And she says, "Well, when I came back after the weekend, I were gutted to see that you were gone, and obviously I was glad to see that you're out at hospital. I was good to see. I was gutted to not say to you." Right. So a year later, the same woman recognises me, and then in the middle of night, when they're giving you all these fucking drugs that you don't know what the fuck they are, they offered me a sleeping pill. So I said to her, can I not have a sleeping pill? No, it's not down there. It's not down on your nose. I said, well, they did tell me earlier on they would get me a, no, it's not on your nose. And that was it. And she was really, really cold, and it were different, and it weren't something that I expected. You know what I mean? I expected, well, I didn't really expect that from it. We're like you're just going to have to cope. And I'm, not in, I'm in agony, shall we say. I'm in absolute fucking agony, and I can't sleep. And then there's all the people on the fucking ward. I'm not talking much about election, am I? Well, I am actually. I'm talking about election. Because it were either that or Brexit. That's what we've been given, this fucking joke. You can have Brexit, you can have safe NHS. It was just a joke. And fucking, what's his face, Corbyn, had gone against every single thing that he'd thrived on politically over the last 20 or 30 years. But, and that was, if the NHS, what I'm trying to say is, if the NHS is something that that we want to keep, then we need to start investing in it, because the people who are running it at the moment, they're being cut down and cut down. When I said to one of the nurses, one of the nurses I recognised from last year, and I said to her, do you know what? I've noticed a complete difference in attitude. I said, I'm not in bad attitude, just in sort of like want to get it out of the way sort of attitude. I said, I've had, it's just been ridiculous. It's been terrible. And she said, well, the nurses, from when you were here last year, she said, we've lost 6 nurses. 6 nurses on one ward. They'd lost 6, and this is not, they've got rid of the nurse that's just arrived, who's just qualified and whatever. These were skilled nurses in specific areas. When I heard that from a year, I thought to myself, well, I've got no, there's no ear. It's the morale, I don't know, I suppose the camaraderie, when you work in NHS, any of these places, like coppers or all like that, they've always got this camaraderie towards each other. And I didn't see that. I did see it before, but I didn't see it this time. They were always prepared to not just say, oh, sorry, it should have been done, but say, well, so-and-so should have done it, which, doesn't help really, does it? Let's face it. 8 out of 10, Stewie says 8 out of 10 nurses are good in the sack. Awesome. Yeah. Above the laws, just put. Did you know that the oath an MP swears allegiance is not to you but a fascist elite concept that is the crown? Yeah, and I completely agree with you there. Above the law. Let me put the. I pop the thing in the comments box. And there we go. If anyone wants to join me, hit that link, and I'll be able to get you on. I'll pop up on the bottom. I just want to get over it. I just wanted to just talk a little bit. I mean, what's been happening since this election happened? I mean, we've noticed that there's been fucking dimwitted. We're not gonna Brexit. We're not gonna Brexit. You know, you've still got that sort of shit out there. But generally, I mean, how generally has this been? How generally has this been affecting you, or not particularly affecting you, but what the differences you see around you? It just seems. Oh, you need input. Okay, Apple Charlotte, input it then. Input your thing and say it can use your screen if you want to use a screen or your microphone, and then you're in. Yeah, but here we go. Super duper. I think I know who that is. Hang on. I'm adding him to the stream. Super duper, how you doing, mate?
Right, how are you?
I'm fine, pal. You don't sound too smart.
Hey?
You don't sound too smart.
Why?
Well, just a bit downbeat, that's all.
I am. I didn't want to come on, to be honest with you. I'll put the light on so you can see me.
You don't have to come on, mate.
You can see my pretty face.
I can see your face. Have I stopped? Or is it you? No. I can't. I don't know where you are, Leeds. I've removed you. Come back. Try again. Yeah, we're definitely maybe on. Webby can come on, can't he? There we go. All right, I'll put you back on, Leeds. You all right, mate? Hey? See, it's just crashing on me every time he comes on. Hang on, get Webby on. He's gone now. I didn't do that either. So it must be him. So Leeds is having a bad day on the internet. Yes, I am trying to get Webby on. I've just popped in the chat room the link, I think. Did I? Where is it? Is it fucked off? Oh, it's there you go. There, look. Yeah. Yeah, Webby, so get your arse on if you want. Get yourself on. Tell us about what you've been up to. And I noticed you've got your meetings again, the bi-weekly meetings. Does that mean anyone can attend, or do they have to be bi? You know, whether that's bisexual, bi-transsexual. Imagine being that, bi-transsexual. I haven't made my mind up what I want to be yet, so I'm a bi-transsexual. You see, like, you can just get it into anything. I don't know why he's sitting in the dark. Oh, fuck, not him. Okay, Apple. Come on, Apple, get yourself on. Put yourself, stick your, what's the word? That link in your browser. You'll be all right. Click on link. Hang on. See, that's what happens when you hit fucking thing. Yes, so, yeah, Ron, good evening, Ron. Apple Charlotte above the law. Tony's in there as well. Earth to Leeds, where is he? He's gone somewhere. If anybody wants to come on, I've popped the thing in the chat room. hopefully Webby will jump on just for, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes, just to let us know what's going on. But he's probably got his computer to restart. Okay, yeah, I've got this bit of a crabby throat. Always happens around Christmas. Oh, here we go. Here, we've got somebody. Good evening. Identify yourself. No, your mic's off, mate. It's off.
Hello. Hello.
There we go. Got you.
Okay,
Brilliant.
cool.
And you are Shield Destroyer. Introduce yourself, my friend.
Wait, I've got to just try. I muted the other one so I could watch, but okay, I'm gonna get rid of that one. That's it. Hi guys.
Right, yeah, it's always that difficult. I have it on going on 2 bits, and sometimes it pops up a couple of seconds later. The noise. How you doing, me old mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I don't know. I've been doing is just to introduce myself. I used to be on Facebook a lot, and I spent my time really out in Shields, hence the name. I've done research through history, followed the money men, followed corporations, worked out history, politics, everything in the whole system's a lie. It's all complete, absolute illusion. You know, everything they're doing. So I got banned from Facebook completely. Even with a VPN, I couldn't set up a new account. I don't know how they done that, but they managed it. And
why do you think they did that? If you're like, you know, out in these Shields?
Well, exactly what I called it, Fedbook. I call it Fedbook.
Right.
It's clearly another Zion outlet, just as YouTube is. But yeah, they completely wrecked me for putting truths up on about all the Shields, like Tommy Robinson. You know, there's loads of them, but I started to do the Brexit guy. Sorry?
I'm going to say, give us your what your opinion of Tommy Robinson is.
Well, I can tell you so much about Tommy Robinson. I'm from Luton.
Right.
So Tommy used to deal cocaine here out of a sunbed shop front. And his Muslim partners kicked him out when he started to deal heroin. So that's why he you know, that's why he got kicked out. And why he sort of has a little bit of a thing for, you know, he doesn't mind hating on Muslims because it's really up yours to his Muslim partners, because they didn't like, you know, they weren't going to get involved in heroin. He over in Luton, he was part of MIGS, which is the football hooligan part of Luton Town Football Club.
Yep.
And he was also BNP, British National Party, which of course, you know, pretty much racist against blacks or anybody. But the real main reason he was part of those two groups was because, of course, not only were they great to deal to, you know, they're great buyers of his coke, but also they were great as a drug dealer for backup. If you got a load of mates that are football hooligans and British National Party, you know, they're thugs, aren't they? They're going to do anything. If someone, you know, here's 20 quid, go and smash someone's face up, they'll do it because that's the type of people they are. So then, whilst at the BNP, apparently the BNP got offered by the Zionists to push Israel and hate on the Muslims, which apparently they refused, and Tommy Robinson took up and they set up the EDL. He exited the EDL because his right-hand man in the EDL and his long-term best friend, a guy called Lee McMillan, on the 27th of September 2013 got arrested for paedophilia. He'd been a years-long abuse on a 10-year-old girl, giving her drugs and sexually abusing her. And in February 2014, he got 17 years. That's how disgusting is. You know, seeming most of them get about, you know, half of them don't even get jail sentences.
Yeah.
Days, but 17 years shows you how bad the judge saw what that guy done to a 10-year-old girl. I exposed that fact personally and started putting it all over the internet. All of a sudden, mainstream media reports online changed published dates to 2018, conviction dates to 2016, when both were February 2014. So you're wondering, why are they reporting on this in 2018 if it happened in 2016, right? So if you would look up Lee McMillan, just put in Lee McMillan. It's Leigh, Lee McMillan.
They always are. What's that all about?
Yeah. If you put in Lee McMillan EDL, and you'll see the reports, you'll go, well, why they some even change the dates, the February 2014 conviction in the story to on Monday. So it proves that the MSM are clearly, trying to help him. He's a Zionist by his own word. I've got a video. I am a Zionist. Yeah, him saying it. And if you look at what a Nazi is nationalist, Zionist. And what's Tommy? A nationalist, BNP, Zionist. Yeah, so when he starts complaining about getting called a Nazi, it's because he is a Nazi. Simple, nationalist Zionist. But yeah,
you're there in Luton, right? Shill. Can I call you something else than Shill?
Yeah, call me Mark. Call me Mark. That's
Mark.
Fine.
Okay, Mark. Well,
yeah,
Mark,
everyone calls me Shill.
What's the feeling about Tommy Robinson around in the area of Luton? I mean, when you're looking in from outside, it's difficult to gauge what sort of reaction he gets.
Oh, in Luton, he won't walk the streets on his own in Luton. He come down here with his EDL and they marched and they pretty much got kicked out. And he knows that the reason he won't do any more marches or the EDL didn't is because they know Luton hate him. You come to somebody's town and start trying to divide us, tell us to hate each other. What do you expect? Luton's a very multiracial town. It's quite a big town. Well,
I've been before. I've been. In fact, I went to a football match and I went in away end. So obviously we went up through the side of the fucking between some terraced houses and
yeah.
Seeing someone
where you go there. See, that's very Muslim. It's very much a Muslim area. Yeah, it's because Berry Park's pretty much been bought out by Muslims for the shopping centres. And when they come, I think when they were original immigrants, of course, the governments like to stack them all together, don't they, in whichever town? So they can use the hate. They like to put them all together in one small part, pretty much. So that's what happened. And obviously, it's a lower part of Luton then, because of course they wanted them all for Vauxhalls building the cars. That's why they were all coming. The governments were dragging them. It's really all it is when you get immigration is purely exactly the same as what you see when you see cows moved. Yeah, we're just cattle, and what they'll do is they'll destroy a country, or town or city, make everybody really poor, and then give them an option. Look, you can come to Britain or you can go to that country. All these haters of immigrants, wait till you're one. Wait till Britain is on its knees and we can't feed ourselves, and then you get offered to go to whatever country and you'll do it because you'll want to save your family and see a better lifestyle. That's all it is. So yeah, these people are nasty, nasty, nasty people. They're there to divide. They're there to cause a hate. They're Zionists. And if people don't understand what a Zionist is, a Zionist goes back to Babylon. It's got nothing to do with Jews. Zionism come across, the first time you probably really hear about it is 1897, when they done the Jekyll Island, private meeting. But if you look at America, the first department store, which I think was 1867 or somewhere around there, was called Zion, ZM, saying quite a bit, Zion. So the first department store in America was Zion. And Zion's hiding all religions, every single religion. They control religion. They control the Vatican City. They control politics. And they chose the Jews because they're following scriptures, right? And the reason they're following scriptures is to convince a lot of people that they're going to Jesus is coming back, when really it's all about their satanic thing of bringing back the Antichrist. And by following the Jew, by pretending to be all the rich ones, the big bosses, of course, are all hiding behind Judaism. But when you look at Jews and the Torah says you cannot have a land for Jews until the Messiah comes back. So Jews would never go for that. Yeah, Zionists read the Talmud, Talmud. And if you look at World War, the 1917 Balfour Declaration, 1917, where it gives Rothschild's bankers a piece of land in Palestine to call Israel, you'll understand, well, where were they getting the Jews from? Because Jews aren't just, going to leave their homes, right? So then you got World War II, right? And all of a sudden Hitler was a Zionist. And he was rounding up Jews to send to Israel. It's just common sense and clear. But Germany was given a whole load of money by the Zionists to rebuild it. So all of the German citizens would hail Hitler because they'll see him as a great man rebuilding the country. When, of course, it's all just pre-played and they're just giving him the money. He's just an actor, just like all the politicians. They're just actors and icons of corporations.
I don't think it's very far away. Sorry, Mark. I just want to, at this point, just let everybody know we've got Adi. Aid's joined us.
Hello, Adi.
I tell you what, I've only been sat working, and I've literally just about 3 minutes ago, and nothing that you have said so far is wrong in any way. Absolutely spot on. Absolutely.
I mean, I've done years of research on this. I follow rather than follow a lot of things other people do. I'll go to a company's house and follow the corporations, who's owning them. Like, for example, the Brexit Party. All these people going Brexit Party. I outed the fact that the secretary of the Brexit Party, his daughter is wed to Nathan Rothschild. Yeah, the secretary, and he resigned in June. Not long after I personally exposed that fact. And then the new secretary now just has a big banking history. Couldn't make it up, could you?
Well, they used to have, was it Alistair Darling trading as whatever political party? Was it?
The Labour Party would trade as Alistair Darling Limited.
That's right,
because it gave them, what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for?
I know, and I can't think of it either.
I've got international. No, that film with Mel Gibson.
I'm trying to think of exactly the same word, and I can't. Yeah,
and immunity.
Diplomatic immunity.
Diplomatic immunity. Yeah, so they traded as Alistair Darling because it gave them diplomatic.
I think there's four. One in the there was one in the Conservatives, two in Labour. And I think there was one in either SDP or Scottish Nationals as well. I can't remember which it was when I last looked, but it was a while ago. But I know it was Alistair Darling trading as the Labour Party.
If you read, if you watch John Harris, do you know who John Harris is?
Yeah.
John Harris, Common Law. That apparently he's suicide, but he was hanging around with some wrong uns and. He was a great man, that man. But if you watch that, you'll see all about how they run their corporations and legal versus law versus legal. And it's all very true, very true. I come across John Harris after I'd done the whole law versus legal. Yeah. Then I watched him. I went, geez, I should have just watched this.
Well, she said just as I kind of came in the onto the show. That was it. And you were talking about the Zionists. I know now, since David Icke has published his latest book, he now goes one stage further and sends it back to the Sabbatean Frankists. And what he basically says is they might pretend to be Jews, they might pretend to be the Saudi royal family, but they're not. They're just Sabbatean Frankists who basically take over religion by posing as it, and like you said, all they're doing, they're waiting for their satanic rituals to come in. That's it. That's
I've been telling everyone for years. Saudi Arabia is a Zionist state cloaked as Islam, and it's ruled. I mean, even Britain's ruled by the Talmudic law.
Well, just imagine for a second if it were true that the United Kingdom and the United States were the so-called police of the world, which is what they try to be, or the excuse they use for getting rid of all the non-Rothschild banking countries and renaming them something else. If they really were that good, with the amount of shit that goes on in Saudi Arabia, surely we'd be straight in there sorting them bastards out for chopping people's heads off and chopping hands off and, when they stone women and all the rest of it. We'd be the first ones in there sorting out. But we're not. And why not?
Do you know what the scariest part about that is, though? Is if you look at the weapons, Britain and America have sold all the good weapons and to Israel, Saudi Arabia, Iran. Yeah, Iran's another Zionist state. So that Israel and Saudi, especially, they've got the best weapons. And if you look at our weapon, our Britain's and America's, they're falling apart. We got planes with bloody wings falling off and boats are sinking. Yeah, so we're setting ourselves up for a huge fall soon, and people have got to start waking up to it. Personally, I believe that as soon as Trump or whoever's voted in next, I think they're looking for that one extra term because they know this is going to be their last term because no one's going to be voting. People are going to be too awake to ever vote for politics again. So I think
that's the problem. Are they actually now realizing what politics is and not engaging in it? I mean, that's.
I tell you what,
this last election shows that they are the people that you wouldn't necessarily agree with, but.
Jason, do we know what sort of percentage of people voted? And I'm not trying to catch anybody out. I honestly don't know how many voted or compared to normal.
I think it was about 68%.
Is that average or?
I think 68.7 or something like that. Someone can correct me from. I don't know if you know, Mark.
I know that if you watch Mark Stillon, he's exposed the fact today that it doesn't even matter about the votes because as long as you're on the electoral register, they just vote for you anyway. Yeah. If you watch Mark Stillon's latest sort of video he's done today, it's basically there as clear as you can see. I think they need, like I was telling everyone, they need 51% of the vote in public to go out and vote. And it doesn't matter who you vote for, just so long as you're voting for to being governed, which they're not going to get after another 2 or 3 years. I'll be surprised. I personally think they brought it forward just to ensure they got any votes at all, a certain amount before. That's why they bought it, because they knew that if they waited for the real date for the general election, they might not have enough voters.
Mind you, every few months I just sort of think to myself, right, how much more can people get shafted before they realise? Surely, soon. And every 6 months, and I think, okay, not yet then. I found a lot of people didn't want to vote or take part because they were just goddamn sick of politics. Because for the past 3.5 years, the only thing that we've heard on, the news is Brexit. And people are just pissed off. And that's what they hoped. They hoped that people would just get totally pissed off so that the answer that everybody gave was, oh, do what you want. We're sick of it.
Yeah. I mean, Brexit, the day it come along, I said it's a psyop. And as we see, it's just going on. And my prediction, I think as soon as Trump comes or the new, probably Trump gets voted in for a new term, that's when you're really going to start to see the shit hit the fan because now, they've all got their new term. So now the banks will crash. They'll use Brexit as an excuse why England isn't getting food. Of course, we all know about chemtrails, right? So we're not going to be able to grow food because they probably poisoned our soils with those chemtrails. That's what I'm figuring. So we won't be able to grow food. We won't be importing food anymore. All our farms have gone. So I think they're going to starve us out. I really do. I think America, they're going to blast out because I think Israel will want to shine to its people and get that that, oh, look how big and powerful they are by taking out what we've all been told to believe is the power of the world, America. And I think all the Zions the idea is all the Zions in Israel are all going to cheer because they've taken out, Israel, the greatest power on the earth, have taken out the greatest power on the earth. That's my prediction. But I'm pretty sure as soon as Trump gets re-elected or whoever gets elected, that's when we're going to really start to see the, things starting to really change. And people
I think Trump being re-elected is a shoo-in. I think he probably could, with the way that he conducts himself and the way that he does different to other politicians, because he'll just work on what he's saying rather than anybody else, and I think that's just something that's refreshing. So I think a second term for Trump is mandatory. I think anyway. I think he's probably going to be in for another 4 years after this one. But again, it can happen, can't it? You turn around, you turn TV on next day, and you see a plane crashing into something, and then
it's all part of the game, isn't it? I mean,
I was just going to say, everything that we've talked about with politics in the past few minutes, what we have to remember is that's just the show and the theatre that's put on.
It's big, yeah. But I call it
because once you get to that level, they're just puppets.
Yeah, exactly. I call it polytricks, Poly, which means lots of tricks, polytricks, and polytricksters. They're all just actor icons of the corporation. I
just wonder how many people who become politicians are kind of bred into it and brought in, and that's what they're always going to be, and they're going to be shuffled to the top.
Yeah.
And how many politicians, especially the backbenchers, actually think they're doing it all for the right reason, to try and make their neighbourhood better, and I'm
sure there's one or two out there that are playing a part and don't realise it.
Yeah.
But most of them, I think, it's easy, isn't it? Oh, we'll just look, son, don't worry about that. We're going to give you a job. Like, look at Boris Johnson. Come on. I mean, this is ruling. I mean, when you look at Trump and they're ruling too, you're going, what? Come on, this guy, the pair of them, they go in for makeup in the morning. Yeah, they learn their lines. They're lights, camera, action. They do their little spiel, and then people think they're sitting there doing something. They're not doing it. They're not making any decisions. If you wouldn't give Boris Johnson a decision, you wouldn't give him a tenner and trust him to come back with a list from the shops, would you?
No.
Let alone give him, you know what I mean?
I mean, how many times have I said to you, Jason, if we've got Trump and we've got Boris, is that it? There's 7 billion people on the planet, and a decent chunk of them live on either the United States of America's lump of land or our lumps of land. If we've got even if we've got 500 million people to choose from, and I'm sure it's a lot more than that, is that fucking it? And then the next one behind that is Hillary. Really? Is that really them three people in the world?
Yeah, it's like we've got like a system of monarchy going on, only in politics. So people you've had Bush and Bush Senior, and now they wanted another Bush. Weren't Jeb Bush going to be doing it at one point? And
apparently, yeah.
It's just a complete nonsense. You're stuck inside this paradigm where you can either vote for, and to think that I'm bringing to this country, as somebody who's had to deal with NHS for the last couple of years, and somebody who was a Brexiteer, I was completely disenfranchised because there was nobody who would represent that. So if I were inclined to vote, there's nobody for me to vote for. Do you think that people just vote for? Do you think people in this election voted for the leader rather than the party and the policies and the shit that had been the politicians had been telling? Do you know what I mean? Do you think it worked like that?
I personally think they give you every sort of side to vote. Yeah, there's always a reason because maybe like the Brexit Party they come out with, because that will attract all the people who voted for Brexit. But most people, I find, that they complain about who they're not going to. You wouldn't vote for him, so they're just
negative voting rather than positive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm not going to vote for them, so I'll vote for them. Nobody I've ever spoken to. Like, I put out a video the other day, and that was exposing some of the stuff and asking people, if you work out your system, right, you've got fiat currency with no value. A family like just me, I could literally be printing money in my house now, lending it to you, saying, just putting it on a screen, making brand new money. You're then going to go away. You're going to launder that money and then give it back to me. And then you've got to find interest that I never print or I never make, or I never put on a screen. And that interest has to come from somewhere, which comes from the poorest. Okay. If you look at the justice system, how unjust it is, law is simple and it has to be, so all can understand it, or it doesn't work. They put in legalese, which is unlawful against man, not engaged in commerce, to confuse law and make sure that we bow and follow their policies. Every part, and I asked anyone, before you tell me who you vote for, tell me one part about how your system works. Because I don't believe any voter who knows any part of the system would ever vote. And that's a fact, because if you look at the whole system's corrupt, it's so corrupt.
I said to, who was it? Oh, it was my daughter the other day. And I said this to Jason, a couple of times. When you've got let's just believe for a minute that politics is real. And we had a vote, 3.5 years ago, and they said, right, we're going to come out of Europe. That was a democratic vote, supposedly. Yes or no. Okay? And it voted, yes, we're coming out. Now, we've now got 3.5 years later, nothing done. And the Social Democratic Party, in their manifesto, said they would be opposing Brexit should they be part of any government after this general election that we've just had. So the Social Democratic Party, was going to ignore a previous democratic vote. And if that doesn't tell people that politics is just theatre and bollocks, well, I don't know how I'm ever going to convince you.
Yeah, I mean, we've been indoctrinated, the school system. Yeah. If you look at, I'll give you a little thing about the school system. The feminist movement was funded by the Rockefeller Foundation. And the reason for that was not only to get all the women out to work so they could tax them, but the main reason was to ensure they got our children at the youngest age to the indoctrination camps, which is now in Britain 2 years old. Yeah, I've got two schools down the road, 2 to 4 year olds, and they've got like the government, criteria they've got to teach. So the indoctrination,
when they can wee, when they can shit, when they can walk to the toilet, when they can eat, when they can breathe, when they can ask a question. Yeah. The indoctrination of us is very, very strong, and it's when you do become awake to it, you just look. You're like an outsider looking in, aren't you? And just seeing how crazy people are, how easily manipulated we are. I mean, some people they're pushing the whole Israel thing, and a lot of Americans, especially Catholics and Christians, are being told that Trump was sent by God, and they believe it. Yeah, that's how nuts people are at the moment. Mate, you go kind of south of Route 66, especially as you get further over to the west. And if you told them that God had said it was going to rain piss this afternoon, but don't worry because tomorrow it's going to be raining strawberries, they would believe you. Yeah. I mean, they really would. And as you move from one side of the states to the other, it's literally as you cross in from one state into another. And it literally is. The people this side of the line, well, they're only a bit bonkers. But the people in this side of the line, in this village, are frigging nuts.
Well, America's a great, imagine the size of America, and they can divide that place up into little sections and make each other hate. I mean, look at the Civil War. They literally had half Americans warring against half Americans. It's crazy, but America was taken. I mean, I'm sure you understand the 1666 Estuary Covey Act, right? Where we were enslaved by legalese.
Yeah.
That was 1666.
Once it supposedly something to do with the Great Fire of London, they needed to find out.
They had the plague. Then the Fire of London, and then London the same year became its own independent, like the Vatican City, like Washington DC.
Yeah, state.
So that was all just part and parcel of clearing London for their own space, and then they governed London and brought in the 1666 Esther Quay. In America, it is exactly the same. It's called the 1871 Act, and they changed two words. I think it was from of and to of to. They changed two words anyway, and it completely transformed American people into free into exactly the same as us, slaves to a corporation. Even Trump, if you listen to him on his inauguration, he only swears to the US. He never mentions America. He never mentions I swear to the US. United States of what?
Israel.
Yeah, oh, definitely Israel. Yeah.
I was watching an episode of The Office, the American version, which I love. I know it all.
And I can't get on with it. I don't know why, but I can't. Anyway, sorry, Jason.
But he there's one, and he comes at the beginning and he says, I always remember. He got this weird way of remembering things, and he says, I always remember the Pledge of Allegiance because I set it to Old MacDonald Had a Farm. So then he starts singing, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, whatever it is, or one nation under God, with a moo here and a moo there, a moo. This thing that kids have got to learn. They've got to learn Pledge of Allegiance. How do they go into school? I mean, can you imagine one going in? I'm not fucking doing that. I'm not fucking allegiance. You can fuck off. You can stick. So listen, Shield Destroyer. It's great to have you on, mate. You've not been on before, have you?
No, I what it was I never wanted to be in front of cameras. I'm pretty camera shy usually. Even just photography. Since I was a kid, I've just hated cameras. So it's never when I'd done Facebook, I never done lives. I would just I'd go after all the Shields. I'd go in all the Tommy Robinson platforms, and until they ousted me by banning me. But I'd just put facts down there and keep facting them. Yeah. I set up the Yellow Jackets. What was it? Yellow Jackets.
Yellow
United Kingdom or something. Yellow Vests, United Kingdom or something. And the reason I set it up was because I could see that the right wing, Tommy Robinson, was trying to take it. I knew they were going to. So I got in there before them. And then, of course, we saw that his crew of minions started to do it. And that all fell on its head. But I changed that to... but we got 4,000 people join that in the first 2 weeks. And as soon as I started telling people, look, I think over in England, especially, the yellow vest is controlled. It's going to be controlled. The right or the left are going to take. The right are already trying to take it. That one of Tommy's minions done about 20 of them blocked a road, and within the hour, the press in America was reporting on it. Yeah. So then once that all calmed down, I then changed the group to. So if you look on Facebook, it's still going. I'm obviously not moderating it anymore, but it's still going. It's called World Resistance to the NWO, and we got 4,000 people in 2 weeks. Then as soon as I started to confirm that we're not really going to do the Yellow Jackets here, we're just trying to stop them, and this is what it's all about. We got shadow blocked, and literally we got no more people. I think still around 4,000. We got those in the first 2 weeks setting it up. So you can see that by setting that up, Facebook were all happy. People were going for it. They were, they were going to do it here, and they wanted it because that might start the civil war that Tommy couldn't do with his hate for Muslims. But it's very the war's on. Yeah, the war's on. There's people out there who are warring constantly. I can see that in America, especially the auditors, they're going around doing public auditing. I don't know if you've seen any of that, where they basically go out with their cameras in public places. The police come along, try to tell them they're not allowed to, and try to arrest them and all this sort of stuff. And they stick up for their rights to be able to, everybody's press, basically. You don't need a press pass to be press, and we all have the right to report a story. And so they're going into the police stations, wherever, and all the police will get called out because they go into a post office, and the post office staff don't like cameras. So they're to me are front line. If that grows, they could become the army that the people need, but we'll see. So I started to do videos because I got bored of, what it's like. You need an outlet, don't you? People like around me don't listen to me. They don't want to, the only person who really has to hear me is my son. But my whole family, since I've been doing this, all friends disappeared, pretty much. My family are just an absolute disgrace. They don't even want to talk. They literally just, my own mother, if I say anything about start to talk to somebody else, she'll interrupt. Oh, stop all that. So you can't get the respect. And once you get disrespect so long, you don't want to be around those people anymore. If you're not free to speak things that are concerning you to your own mother, you're like, well, forget it. If I've only got to speak about the weather and what's on the bloody telly,
what you've just said is why I now live alone after I lived with a girl for 5 years.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm okay that I'm housebound this Christmas, because I just don't want to fucking go anywhere. It's crap. I fucking hate Christmas. I hate Christmas so much. I think it's so fucking wrong. You lie to your children as a way to a means to make them fucking behave themselves. They sound sussy.
I heard one the other day.
Hang on a minute, Ada. Hang on a minute.
Sorry.
When you're a kid and your mum and dad are telling you that Father Christmas is coming, you're usually about 8 fucking years ahead of them telling you the truth, aren't you?
Yeah.
In 8 years' time, they'll tell you the truth. And actually, they'll know that you've worked it out. It's a load of fucking crap. Ask anybody. I've had to do this, I've had to do that, I've had to do this, and it's been so hectic. It's Christmas, and then Christmas comes and it goes, and you think you ask them, if you ask each individual one and say, was that all worth it? They'd probably say fucking no.
I know. But because we got indoctrinated from being 2 years old and upwards, but we can't have Christmas anymore. We've got to have holidays because, we can't be seen to offend anybody who happens to have a different religion. But my mate who's Jewish can walk around going, Happy Hanukkah. That's fine. But, if we say Happy Christmas, well, you might just offend somebody who's not a Christian.
Are you sure that's real, lady? I'm not sure that's real. I'm not sure that's real. I think that's like an urban myth that we can't say Christmas and.
Oh, we can't. What I'm saying is, it's if you notice, it used to be America, Happy Holidays, and now. Like even the other day, I went to buy some Christmas cards, for my kids and whatever. And there's more and more and more cards say things like Happy Holidays or avoid saying Christmas or Noel. Whereas 10 years ago, everybody card had got Christmas, Noel, across the miles and all that. Every brand of Christmas card. But there's more and more and more now, and I wouldn't say they're not Christmassy, but they're aimed at a much wider vision.
Yeah. Well, personally, I used to love Christmas as a kid and even as a young man, because to me it was. I think it's probably still for a lot of people where it's one time that your whole family gets together, isn't it? Like you see your aunties and uncles that you haven't seen, your cousins. But now it's, you see, now you're awake. Like I ain't put up decorations. I've told everyone, no, I'm not doing a Christmas this year at all,
Oh, hang on. Let me show you my Christmas tree that we've got in our house.
Oh, no. There could be anything on this tree.
It's only about fucking that big. And it's got, my missus, right? She says, shall I put Christmas tree up? I says, go on then. She went upstairs, picked it up from where she'd left it last year. Everything's still on it. Boom. Bob's your auntie's living lover.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm impressed.
I mean, I do understand that there should be a time of year, but wouldn't it be a lot easier if each individual family had their own time of year where they come together and have fun, and that's just as much as but they don't get Christmas off, but they'll get that break off from work for Christmas in lieu of Christmas. You know, it's just that.
Trouble is, it's a great idea unless this world isn't really what it's supposed to be, and that your situation wouldn't be part of the big plan to indoctrinate everybody.
Well, no, because there'd be no chance.
But yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah. Well, what's your Christmas going to be like, Mark? I nearly called you Shill again then.
So I'm used to being called Shill. It's my name, isn't it? So I just everyone thinks I'm the Shill. But my Christmas, literally, my son's going to his girlfriend's mum and dad's, and I've been invited today. I've said no, I'm not. I'm just staying at home. I'm giving my son a little bit of money just so to make him happy, and that's it. I'm not doing nothing, mate. I just don't want to play. I don't want to play up to it. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, if it was a family gathering, I'd go, of course. But there's not a family gathering because I don't really speak to any of my family anymore. So to me, but the whole thing, it's just people spend money on shit, don't they? And then they're all trying to or you got people who just want to impress other people by buying bigger stuff.
Yeah, more fucking.
How much shit do you stock up in the corner? Like through the Christmases of my life, all the shit you stick up in the corner, and most of it you're like, I would never have bought this. And you've got to say, I really love that, thank you. You're not allowed to ask for a receipt, and it just gets junked, doesn't it? It's a shame.
Yeah. It's like my mum, she'll say, "Oh, what do you want for your birthday?" No, my mum has forgotten my birthday for the past 3 years. I mean, she was fucking there, on the actual day she was there. But she'll always say to me, "Oh, what do you want for Christmas?" Well, not always, near Christmas. What do you want for Christmas? And I just say, "Mum, I just want a card and a hug." That's it, just a card and a hug. And I'm not too bothered about the card, if I'm honest.
Make the card.
Or the hug.
Or the hug, yeah.
I'll fucking hug you any time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only good thing about Christmas for me used to be I get paid more money because it was always in entertainment. Same with Jason. The only other thing is I think I wouldn't say it makes us do things. It makes me make a point of wanting to see both my grandchildren on the same day, both my son and his family and my daughter and her family on the same day, and speak to my mum at least on the phone on the same day, and probably send my brother and my sister a text on that same day.
Mm.
The fact that it just happens to be some indoctrinated religious bollocks.
And this is
because that's the environment I was brought up in. That's the kind of way I look at Christmas, really.
But it don't. All right, everyone looks at Christmas fucking differently.
Mm.
And everybody looks at it in their own way. Now, I understand what you're saying, Mark, when you say that you see some family, but you don't necessarily get on with them. And that's the point, isn't it? It's getting on with them. It's like being stood there in a situation. I know if I was stood there in a situation and between me and my mother and a certain thing came up and I gave my opinion on it, she'd be completely against it. Just simply, I think, because it's me that's saying it. That's what I think it is. Even when Jimmy Savile died and I said, look, it's a paedophile. And they all, no. And then Yorkshire Television had him. He'd been buried at an angle, overlooking the bay in Scarborough. And then he comes out as a paedophile. And
about a month later, by that time, they'd ransacked his grave and reburied him somewhere, supposedly, hadn't they?
Yeah. Oh, fucking. Just a joke. Anyway, Mark, we started this off with this election. I think we've covered it a little bit. But your title that you give yourself, Shill Destroyer, give us some ideas of people that you've shilled and destroyed.
Well, obviously, like Tommy Robinson, the Brexit Party and the secretary there. I've just put out a video on Andrew, Prince Andrew, not only for his pedo, but he's actually hiding under another name as a company director. Few know that, and the partner there looks very iffy. I've done a video on that today, so but you'll see he's literally our royals are hiding under other names as company directors.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah. The amount of shills that I've outed.
What's your? Have you got a YouTube account? Have you got a YouTube page? You know,
Shield Destroyer. That's what it is. Shield Destroyer.
Nice and easy. So if you want to get into his YouTube account, it's Shield Destroyer. So you'll be able to find.
I started about 3 weeks ago, probably, and you'll see. Because like I said, I didn't want to do the videos, but I was out of Facebook probably for, I don't know, maybe 8 months, something like that, since they banned me. And you just need somewhere, didn't you? So I was just on YouTube watching people, but of course I had no outlet apart from typing. I'd type on all like the Tommy Robinson videos and all of that, and go around out in the shields there. But you've got nobody to speak to, and when you've got nobody in your family really that's got any understanding of what's going on and just want to stay ignorant, your friends, you need somewhere just to let it out, don't you? What you know, because it's like stuck inside you. It's stuck. So I decided, fuck it, I'm going to have to do, excuse my French, I'm going to have to do some videos. That's the only way I'm going to be able to have a voice. So I started, and I've started to get more and more. It's just one of them things, isn't it? And I'm trying to tell everybody, if you've got some facts, and make sure they are facts. Don't go around just shouting third-party nonsense like a Tommy Robinson supporter does. But if you've got actual facts that you've researched yourself, then get in front of a video and just put them out there. And the more you do it, the more you'll get used to just being in front of the video and doing it, and you won't think so much about it because it is very self-conscious. I always hated my own voice. When you hear your own voice, like if you leave a message on an answer phone, even that I hate it. So when I heard myself a video and saw it, but you get used to it. So I do strongly recommend, because I think if everybody that's awake was doing this sort of thing, people, their families or their friends or my families or my friends might see your video, your friends and family might see my video, or vice versa. Messages will get out there much stronger if where they're just seeing the odd person doing it, they're just going, oh, he's crazy. But if they see a lot more doing it, no matter what, just get in front of the camera, and also I think it's very good for your own state of mind. I find this very especially talking to people like you two guys, for example, rather than just doing my own videos. I find it very much kind of laying down on a couch and getting some bloody what's it called,
Well, when I first kind of started to do the raconteurs thing, it was more a sort of get a guest on and interview them. And then when we didn't have anybody who was going to be a guest, we'd just kind of do an informal chat thing. And it's kind of moved more over to that. I mean, we do very often get, guests on to talk about a specific subject or, and that's fine. Or somebody like yourself who's dropped in for a general chat about a lot of stuff, but kind of politics-ish. But all along, I just sort of said, well, this is kind of like me and Jason in a pub having a chat, maybe with somebody else, but with a load of people around us just watching. And that's the way I kind of hope that this comes across, because I'm not so much, apart from the little red thing in the corner saying it's live, everybody else who's there, I'm intrigued and grateful for, but it's you two guys that I'm having a conversation with. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like, not that there's a wall there, because we'd love everybody to get involved, but I just see it as like a chat between the three of us. Yeah,
I agree totally. But I just think when you got an audience, try and I personally, as you can probably tell, I just tried to push as much out there, like and there's so much in there right now that I could just go on and on and on. I could literally be on here for 24 hours. And I still wouldn't stop.
Just before you do that, let's say hello to some people in chat room again. Alan Vicker is in there. Apple Charlotte, please stay. Apple Charlotte, please. Tony, Ron Malcolm, Stewie's in there as well, and so that's that's what I can read anyway. I mean, there's lots and lots of people in the chat room. If you're just watching and not tuned in, you can get into the chat room, get onto log in and get onto the YouTube video, and you'll be.
I know he's with us tonight. Hi, Carl. But he's not in the chat room. But I know he's there. So good to see you, mate.
So I hope to Carl then. Well,
yeah.
Sorry. What are the shills you destroyed? Come on, well, not destroyed.
I'll tell you what. Who was your first one? And why what was that? Your first domino that fell over?
No, I think I think I really started to wake up around 2007. It was because I started my own business. I left I was a salesman, in a corporate world, and I got the hell out of there. I just had enough of it, and I started to buy and sell cars. So I had a bit more time on my hands, and I come across, and there was a lot of stuff, and I never voted. I hated politics. I just, I knew it was all, I couldn't stand the people involved. I knew it was saying Cliffy, but didn't really know what. And then I watched Zeitgeist, and it was about 2007. I watched Zeitgeist, and as I'm watching it, all the hairs on my arms are sticking up, the back of my neck, because everything, all of a sudden, it started to, everything that was I'd seen over the years, all of a sudden started to make sense. And that's when I really started to do bits of research then, and start to work out parts of the system and how Politrix was, a big con. And then the first person that was Tommy Robinson, just because I was Luton, and I couldn't believe that nobody else was outing him. And I figured it's got to be someone from Luton. And I really expected everybody on my page to sort of then start backing me up, because a lot of them were from Luton, but most people didn't say much. So I figured, okay, so I'm a one-man band having to do this then. And this was probably around 2010, 2011, I guess. I started to out Tommy as the scumbag he is. And then as you go on and you learn more, and then you see Millwall Shields coming along all the time. I mean, I know you mentioned David Icke. I don't trust that one. There's a number of reasons, but I won't go into that. But I don't trust anyone, to be fair. And that's a fact, because the amount of people I've trusted or thought, you sit down, you listen to, they're all saying the right stuff. You think, they're definitely, like Tommy, I watched him jump on the freedom of speech, and that's, he'd gone dead. I watched Tommy go up, down and up so many times. It's like, I'm telling everyone, when they say, he's forgotten about, stop talking about him, I say, no, this is what he keeps doing. He keeps being forgotten about. Then all of a sudden he'll rise again.
Yeah, it's a bit like David Bowie. Just keeps reinventing himself.
And what he done was he put out a little video telling everyone he was going to be at this freedom of speech march, with which was being run by already EDL. And at the time I didn't know, but they were ex-EDL members or EDL members, now pretending that they're freedom of speech. They're the DFLA. They're the Pendragons. And it was all being run. The top men of these groups were EDL members. And what they're doing is freedom of speech. And Tommy put out a little video saying he's going, it's all right, it's not about him. He just believes in freedom of speech. Done this little shitty video. Within 2 days, all of a sudden, he's a top speaker there. And I was just like, wow, they're going to... And you could see, like, what they've done is they've just spread the EDL out into a load of different, like, little subsections. And then they pull them all into, we're for freedom of speech. We're for Brexit. We're for this. And then as soon as there's a Tommy Robinson meet in London or something, the group leaders will lead all their followers down there. And then before you know it, all these people are going, whoa, Tommy, I'm a fucking idiot, Tommy.
Tommy Robinson. No. I mean, even at Luton Town matches, his voice, and weren't there something where they ask the supporters to stop chanting his name?
Well, I don't think there's many people in Luton Town. You got to remember that the MIGs still exist to a point, but most of them are like 50-year-old men now, and with someone like Tommy, you see it. You basically Tommy's crew tend to be 50-year-old, should know better, should be adults, but they seem to want to relive that 17-year-old lifestyle. And as we see, most men these days don't grow up, do they? because of the indoctrination. It's like children in adults' body. You can't have a serious conversation these days with many adults. I find I can't sit there and have a proper serious conversation.
Absolutely right there, Mark. Absolutely right there, Mark. You're completely right. You can't have a conversation with somebody when the beliefs are so indoctrinated. There's no you can do.
No,
there's no you can do, especially indoctrinated people. Sorry, I keep leaving over to scratch my stump. The indoctrination's so deep that, I mean, even if somebody sees somebody as perhaps not doesn't support somebody, but sees them and acknowledges them as a political giant or whatever, then he's always going to get people to follow him. And I remember all that stuff last year. I was in hospital. I was having my leg amputated last year, and I remember going down, and first time I'd seen news for days, and I'm looking on my phone, and Trump were visiting, and there was so much hatred and so much crap, and so much disrespect to another. Another leader, a leader of the free world, as it is, really.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. How if you can either be in a free world or you can be led. You can't be both.
All right. Or let's just say leader of the free world.
Yeah.
But he's coming over here and he's getting bamboozled all over the place by this crap. I don't understand it. He's a democratically elected leader. What's your thoughts on Trump, Mark?
Well, I've also outed Trump's granddad as well. If you go and look at Drumpf, Drumpf, Donald's real surname, Drumpf, you'll find that his granddad started the family wealth by selling. He basically run a brothel in Germany, but he went from Germany to Scotland, followed the first two Illuminati schools. And if you want to know what schools they are, just go and look at Prince Philip. He went to both of them. So he went from Germany, followed the first two Illuminati schools, and he sold sex slaves to the elite. That's the big link between Trump and the elite. But just go and have a look. That's why you'll see that Trump's family is German and his mother's Scottish or whatever. He's got Scottish and German thing. But these are facts that few seem to know, especially Trump fans. Also, he's in $600 million plus debt to the Rothschilds. The guy is not a businessman at all. He's a philanderer, and the reason he's president is because of the debt. And he probably said, he's an easy one who'll do as he's told, because he'll be, look, you're either going to be skint and look like a complete arsehole, and all the Americans are going to laugh at you, or you can do this for us. I think he's too stupid to care about Zionism and all that. I think he'll just do as he's told, and he'll do it in a way, like I said, he'll get his lines in the morning, he'll get his makeup, and he'll just bose his way through it. But listen to the guy. The IQ level's not high. Exactly the same with Boris. You can tell both their IQ levels are not high at all in any shape or form. Certainly shouldn't be running any. I wouldn't let him run a piss up in a brewery, let alone a country.
Well, Trump's quite a decent bet, really, because he always seems to get out of these debts that he's been bankrupt so many times, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's rise again, and then it became this power force on TV in America. And I think that's there were a lot of stuff. I think the fact that the Democratic Party got rid of Bernie Sanders and put Hillary Clinton in,
even though Bernie won the lot.
Even though Bernie won the lot, but they still put Hillary, who they knew were toxic. They knew that it was a risk, but they were so arrogant that they thought they could get away with it.
I mean, the Clintons were dealing, massive cocaine importers, aren't they? They're well into the cocaine. I mean, as we know, government are the biggest like all these people taking coke these days as their, stay off it. That's a government drug, man, and there's a reason they to fill our streets with cocaine. But you can see the people. Look at Tommy Robinson's crew again. How stupid they are because they love to snort the coke. It makes you thick as shit. It loses you the ability to think about anything. The reason you always see Tommy on it, you only got to watch one of his videos and you'll see the big eyes and a constant, the reason when you take it so much, especially him, he'll take a line because he'll want to go in front of a camera and give it all the But then you get used to where you can't go in front of the camera without taking it, right? Because then you're like, so that's how you become a cocaine addict. Where I watch people when I was in sales literally lose everything through becoming addicted to cocaine, because when they were doing their sales thing, they couldn't do it. They needed a bit of coke. So they're literally taking coke at work. It's very dangerous, that drug, and I suggest all the people who sort of like think, it's nothing, it's just a little bit of fun on a Friday night, just stay away from it because you're only funding them anyway, and it really does. That's a drug that'll kill your brain cells. I'm pretty sure of that.
Well,
cocaine, stay away from coke.
Biggest drug dealer in history was Queen Victoria.
Yeah.
I mean, just made like Escobar and all them just look like puppy dogs.
We're getting far back now, aren't we? Queen Victoria becoming. We're going back a long way, aren't we? There, I mean, it's just been going on for such a long time. This whole thing, and
CIA, Cocaine Import Agency, isn't it?
Yeah,
CIA, Cocaine Import Agency.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and the Americans were fighting for gold, oil, and
drugs.
Yeah,
drugs.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like when they say, we're going to have a war on drugs. No. That's a war on the competition.
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember how quickly they got rid of ecstasy in England?
Yes.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Yeah.
They had Leah Betts. Yeah, they put a massive story worldwide about one 18-year-old girl who drowned because she drank too much water whilst on ecstasy, and literally they wiped it out because again, people were enjoying it too much. It wasn't addictive. People were becoming to love each other, and they wasn't hating on each other, and it was breaking the cocaine trade down for sure because people were going for the raves rather than the pub of beating each other up and going, yeah, look at me, I'm on coke, I've got so much ego tonight because I've just snorted a line.
Yeah.
But the Leah Betts thing is interesting, and I remember reading a book by a guy who it was about. Remember the Essex Boys thing where they were all took down and killed in that thing? It were
Range Rover.
About that. But it was also this guy called Bernard O'Mahony, who had been a bouncer outside a nightclub called Rachel's, I think it was called. It was somewhere in Essex, Croydon or somewhere around that. And the story he gave was completely different to the story that that we all know, or people at least that look at it know about the Essex Boys situation where they got all fucking killed. But that were linked to the Leah Betts case, apparently.
Yeah. I think they were the major importers, I think, over on the Essex coast, weren't they, of the ecstasy, and I think they were setting it up, and I think those guys were, not nice guys, but I think they wanted them wiped out. So it's probably to do with the powers that be that probably had them killed in that Range Rover, maybe. But yeah, they sure did wipe out the whole raving scene, the ecstasy. That just disappeared overnight, didn't it? But all of a sudden they can't get rid of the cocaine.
It's fucking hell. Just it's amazing how they managed to stop that, but they've not stopped all else. You know what I mean? They managed to stop the ease and what you're talking about. And I think on the night, I don't know if the guys because they were in a Land Rover and they all got shot to death in this Land Rover. I don't know whether they were in that field to meet to do a deal or whether they were in that field to meet a plane coming across that were going to drop some shit out for them. So
it's one or tough, isn't it? They done a film on it, didn't they? And it was like it was their ex mates and that set them up because they were going to kill them, so they killed them. So they done a whole film on that. But
yeah.
It was a good film actually. But yeah, you don't, it's like a film on Facebook, isn't it? You just because they do a film on it doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, Essex
like
Gang.
Titanic. The Titanic, another film they done.
Yeah, we know all about that. That fucking didn't happen. Well, we know it's sunk, but we don't know that it was actually the Titanic that sunk, but it sunk.
No, it's probably its sister ship, weren't it? Because it already had.
Yeah, we've had John Hamer on, who's done an extensive research on that, and he found lots of different clues and lots of different things.
Yeah.
So,
if anyone wants a quick, easy idea, book Futility 1898. It's about a ship that hit an iceberg and sunk, and the ship was called the Titan.
Right, okay.
How many? 16 years before the Titanic, it was written.
Wow.
And JP Morgan funded the shipbuilding company and was supposed to be on the Titanic, but didn't turn up. There's 3 people against the Federal Reserve, all died on there. There was so much on the Titanic.
That's right, because that was just after Jekyll Island, wasn't it?
That was it, yeah. Well, Jekyll Island was 1897. The book, and the bloke who wrote the book had a nasty accident death. I think he was murdered or something. The bloke who wrote for Futility. There was so much to it that you could clearly see. Yeah, this was set up to take out because the Federal Reserve went up 1 year later after Titanic, didn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, well, it was on New Year's Eve. Either New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve that year. That they knew that there'd be nobody in, so they put it on then and passed it.
That's when they passed the law, wasn't it? Yeah, literally overnight.
I think it came into power in 1913. The Federal Reserve Act, and yeah, you're right. There were people that were opposed to that. Important people that were opposed to that. I mean, we're not talking about me and Abe being chucked up a fucking ferry on way to Amsterdam because we know more than we should. We're talking about actual people that were in places that could do things.
The rich men of America that actually cared about America. And in 1920, I think it was, Henry Ford, he outed the elders, the protocols of the elders of Zion. Completely outed it. Henry Ford did, and at the time he's the most powerful man in America because he was the richest. And then he was made to publicly go back on what he said. So and it was believed that it was under threat. They were going to kill his wife and all sorts.
Yeah.
But if you look at the protocols of the elders of Zion, you don't look at Wikipedia because it'll tell you, oh, this was a fake document, blah, blah, blah. But if you read the actual protocols, you'll go, oh, yeah, that was right. Just like the Talmud, Talmud, their book of choice. But yeah, it's so much goings on. All of history is bullshit. All the wars are bankers' wars.
Well, exactly.
Well, now we've got that shit out of the way, election and all that. I mean, we have spoken a little bit about the election. What about all these other people in different groups that are making claims and saying things? I've got on my, I've got on my mind, don't you?
No. Mark Thunberg.
Who?
Greta Thunberg.
Hang on, you both right, Jason. Say that again.
I was saying Mark Steele, and Mark was saying Greta Thunberg, which we can talk about both.
Mark Steele, he joined my group, funny enough, and at first I was like, yeah, this guy's good, but it turns out that he's probably not right. I saw some stuff on someone else, and I used to hang around like in Facebook, sort of like about 4 or 5 of us who I could rely on them because I knew they were telling the truth, and all of them sort of come to the same conclusion that he was a wrong 'un and working on the side. It's something to do with where he was doing it and I think, I didn't do all the research myself. There's a woman called I think her name was Anne-Marie something.
Anne-Marie Carey, she's been on this show.
Okay, yeah. I think she outed him, but that was towards, I didn't really, he was too small chips really he was going on 5G and saying it was in, where was it, Nottingham or something, was it, if I remember right? Gateshead, that was it, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's, I don't know. What did you think of him?
I don't like him. I've had him on. I've had him on, and I've also had him coming on, but not. He's done it. Come on through somebody else.
And he killed someone, didn't he? That was it. He was he shot some woman in the head or something when he was a bouncer.
Yeah, he shot a girl in the head. She didn't die. Yeah,
that was it. Yeah, that was straight away for me. Right, this guy's a criminal. He's probably doing the drug dealing if he's got guns and that. So, and most of these people that are shills come from, they've got something over their head, a big sentence, so they're easy to manipulate. Look, you can work for us, or you can go do 10 years. Yeah, okay, I'll work for you, and we'll give you money. Great, and we'll give you fame. And all these type of people love all that, don't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah, especially the fame. But he had his little hound dog.
Yeah, I remember a little guy, weren't it? I forget his name now.
Lee Garrett, his name were. It was Lee Garrett on some places, and anyway, I mean, he was the one that sent me a message saying, "I've got a wife, 2 kids, and 2 legs, so I'm better off than you." So that's the sort of type of person that we're dealing with.
Yeah, I kind of got that vibe from him as soon as I started hearing him. To be fair, you give him a chance, though, didn't you? Because you figure, okay, some people, they might not be so, they might not dress or look so, they might look and sound a certain way, but you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. But no, I understand exactly that. If he said that, then you can definitely tell, yeah. But you got the simple rule is just don't trust anyone, because nobody's going to save you. It's down to all of us to save us. And if we build an army where we're all doing something, and instead of going chasing down, and following people like Tommy Robinson, because the chances are the majorities of people will follow a wrong one. Like, I'm really worried about Julian Assange. I think a whole load of people, I think he will somehow become a hero that managed to use his big brain to get away from the charges, and all of a sudden he'll lead a whole load of people off a cliff. And the reason, if you're getting mainstream media attention, a lot of it doesn't matter whether it's in a good or a bad way, you're probably a shill, because there's no way what I say would ever get on, I'm not going to get loads worldwide media. I'm not going to get on a front page of a magazine, on front pages of newspapers. If I was leaking secrets of USA, if I was leaking military secrets, I would probably be dead within 24 hours. I wouldn't be all over the newspapers telling you about these. He also denied he denied 9/11 truth, but he's a gatekeeper. If you was a military personnel, and you had some real secrets and you were too scared to tell someone, and WikiLeaks popped up, you might just think, oh, WikiLeaks, I can trust them. And that might well have got a lot of them killed. He's purely a gatekeeper. When Trump says swamp, what is it?
Drain the swamp.
Drain the swamp, he means drain it of all those that are against Zionism. That's what he meant. And they'll use people like Assange to do that. And
it can be for not just for an individual person, but for collective people. It can be quite soul destroying that you've got this. I don't know. It's like it's as though we get to the edge of the truth and then it's took away from. It's like this with this election. It's as though we almost scooped up a lot of the shit, and I know that a lot of the shit out of Momentum, the Labour group Momentum. I know a lot of them lost their seats, so I can't imagine them coming back with anything less than the biggest guns with anything. And I fear that we're heading into a time now where it was as it used to be. Because whilst Jeremy Corbyn was there, no matter what you think of him, whilst Jeremy Corbyn was there, people were, people were thinking that there was a choice when actually they weren't. There weren't any choice. There were never any choice. If you had a choice, you were a Brexiteer and wanted to do Brexit, and then and you're a Labour follower, and you just completely fucking fuck it off simply because an idea and something that you've got in your head or some ideal, and you completely get rid of it because you've got this Labour crap going in your head. And then it just seems that we're being put into this more and more malleable state where we'll fucking vote for I mean, Boris Johnson got in. We'll vote for anything. Bolsover, which is not far from here, a Conservative one, Bolsover. Fucking Dennis Skinner must be turning in his fucking skin.
Yeah.
How the fuck did Bolsover fall to the Conservatives? There were Newark that went to Conservatives. All these mining areas all went to Conservatives simply on the basis of Brexit will be done. And when Brexit's not done, we've still got 5 years of the cunt.
Yeah, so I don't even bother tuning into anything to do with politics as far as any of the bullshit they come out with. It doesn't matter. Like you say, if we had a choice who was going to govern us, we wouldn't be allowed to vote. There is no choice. It's all just a big theatrical show, and we're always under the same power, which are the banksters, the Zionists. They control everything at the moment, and they're only a small percent. They're only a small percent. Sure, they've got a lot of minions out there working for them on the payroll, but really the main people who are making the decisions are a very small percent. And I saw a video about where there was one little thing and all the majority, and they're a tiny little speck compared to all of us. So we will. I'm pretty sure we will win this.
Are you sure?
Well,
how many times have we had this? I personally, I've been in this since 2006.
Yeah.
And the amount of times that I've been through this, it's going to end. It's going to end. It's going to go. It's going to go. It's going to go. It's got that far that I just think to myself, well, probably someone might try to do something, but it's not going to fucking end. But I can't work out as well why we're not in this civil war. Why are we not in this civil war? Why is there not a civil war between we're not gonna Brexit, we're not gonna Brexit?
I think the left and the right, the left and the right are two sides of one very low IQ cult. Yeah, they're two sides of one cult, left and right. Without the right, there is no left. Without the left, there is no right. And I think, although you'd love to have all the rights tend to be more the kind of guys that, are going to get pissed down a pub, come out and go, yeah, and snort all the coke. The left are more your sort of, I guess, if you want to call them middle class, maybe middle class doesn't exist so much, but more the type who, will sit at home and watch their news all night. So you got two. So you got one that would want to start the civil war and go to war with the left, but the left are like more to like, oh no, I just like expressing my view, and I'll get down to because I belong to a club and the club's told me this, I'll go down to London and pretend climate change is real, even though I've got no idea of it. Oh look, they've given me a board, so I don't even have to make one. So and they tried it. They tried the real civil war. I think was supposed to be the the Kalaji plan, which was to import as many Muslims as they could, and then to cause the hate. And I believe they were going to import a lot more, but Tommy failed. He failed. I think if Tommy had got the support and he wasn't always on the coke and just doing stupid things, the chances are then they would have imported a whole load more Muslim immigrants to start the civil war. but he failed. They're trying it. He's now targeting America and Canada, so I think they're going to try it there still, and trying to wake them up. I see. I've done a video. It goes on for a bit, but it's out in Tommy Robinson completely. But I went into like a forum here, an American one, and it was just auditors. And I was going in there for a nice little chat. Yeah, you'll see that in the first 10 minutes if you watch it. I just going in there, hello, how are you? And then all of a sudden, a gammon comes in, a guy called Based Welshman. And straight away,
Gammon?
You know what a gammon is?
No.
Okay, it's a Charles Dickens. It's originally a Charles Dickens sort of thing. It's basically where people pretend to be a patriot to their country, but whilst they've got no intelligence on anything that's going on, but they conceal that by just calling themselves a patriot whilst hating and doing all the things that a Tommy Robinson supporter does.
Okay. It's just that's the second time in 2 days that I've come across the phrase gammon. So
yeah, I'll put an LBC. If you look for the video, it's called a Tommy Robinson gammon exposes the low IQ of his cult. And in the description, I put a link. The LBC, a guy in LBC, literally points out the exactly what a gammon means. But this goes on, and you can see like the hate. This guy is calling me a C word, CCC, and I'm telling these guys in America, look, this guy is here probably to get you to all love Tommy Robinson. He loves Trump, obviously. He loves Israel. But really, if he's going to start using C words constantly in that, he's trying to get your show taken down, because that will get your YouTube account removed if they hear that all the time. Yeah. So you've got to be careful who you bring in sometimes. And I was trying to explain that, but they still allowed him in. But for 2.5 hours, I literally just humiliate the guy, because he's trying to get me to be all like fired up. He wants me to start doing what he's doing, swearing, and he tries to get me into the label game. Where are you? You sound like you're sort of siding on the left. I'm like, no, I'm not left or right, mate. I've got higher IQ than that. And then he's, I think it's quite funny. I recorded it straight off of the guy who was putting it out from my telly, and he even says, "Oh, you've." He tried to say I'd edited it. I'm like, it's recorded. You can see I'm recording it off telly, and I redo it all, and I sit there and I stop it, and I tell you what he's doing, the way he's trying to, change the conversation, the way he's trying to get them on, the way he's trying to push me as a traitor. Everything I say is, and he tells you he hates MSN, and I go to him, why? And he says something. I said, where'd you get that information? He goes, what was it, Matt? I goes, no, tell me, I want to know, because I knew where he got it from. He got it from mainstream media, and everything he says, he contradicts himself, yeah? And I just did humiliate the guy for like 2.5 hours. Yet he still wants to just carry on. And you hear me constantly saying, look, I don't want to speak to this guy anymore. There's no point. But that's quite a good one for facts on Tommy Robinson, for facts on a few things, including Hitler. If you dared sit through 2.5 hours, if you got 2.5 hours, I should have broken it down into 4 parts, because more people probably likely watched it. But maybe I'll get around to doing that when I work out how to.
Are you talking about the Adolf Hitler, the greatest story never told?
Well, no, I just, to me, Adolf Hitler's a Zionist. He's an actor like all politicians. He's an icon. His role was, first of all, to get all of Germany behind him. And the way they done that was just plough loads of money into the country, 100% unemployment rate, all good jobs. After World War I, Germany started to boom because of Hitler. Of course, it was just Zionists ploughing loads of money into it. So all the German people would hail Hitler, and when he asked them to, they would all come out to die, including children, which we know happened, right? His other part was obviously to round up Jews so they could send them to Israel. I don't know.
Well,
but
I've seen that as a different thing, as them sending them to Palestine.
Well, Palestine, yeah.
Yeah. But, well, they were repatriating to Palestine, what was then called Palestine at that time. I mean,
you'll hear the gammons say that Palestine didn't exist. And you go, well, why don't you go and read the Balfour Declaration? Because it literally says Palestine on the Balfour Declaration, you bunch of low IQ morons. You can't obviously actually do any research for yourselves. You just listen to third-party bullshit. It's like when Tommy Robinson talks about Muslims want to kill people. The Quran tells them to kill. He never puts any context into it. Like, for example, it tells them you're allowed to kill people during war when they're attacking you. He forgets the context. And the context is very important, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. It is. AD, you've been a bit quiet, mate.
I'm knackered, mate. And
I'm just having a look at. Sorry, go on, carry on.
No, I'm just going to say I'm knackered, and I've got to be up in about 5 hours.
All right. Well, we'll wrap this up in the next 10 minutes. Don't you reckon?
So, listen, I'm gonna get off. But you two just carry on, and I'll speak to you all very soon.
All right, mate. Speak to you later, pal.
Cheers, mate.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
And there goes Aid. So it's just two of us now. It's Shield Destroyer Mark and me, Jason Holmes. I'm just looking at, and you're listening to Raconteurs News. We've got, like I said, we'll do about another 10 minutes. We start at 9:30. We usually do a 2-hour show. So in this last 10 minutes, what do you want to, fill this with? What is there anything else you'd like to bring up?
You have a thing. Let me, one sec. I've just got to let me cat out because he's scratching.
All right. So while Mark is dealing with his pussy, I'll just read some stuff out from the. I'll just say hello, Ron Malcolm, Apple Charlotte, Karma 4. Good evening to you, Tony as well. Uni Black Sisters there as well. Probably still not laid, but we can work on that. Yeah, go on. Is your cat outside now?
Yeah. He's sorted. I don't know whatever you want to talk about. I mean, I could go on forever. History, certain people.
There's tons of history, isn't there? We get taught loads and loads of history. We do hear when you're on this side of the fence, you generally tend to hear a lot of history stuff. I mean, what about the stuff that's happening at the moment? I mean, what do you see this doing to the country? I mean, for me, the country seems to be in a bit of a shock that we've got this Conservative leader. I don't know why they're being shocked. None of them voted for fucking Corbyn. So, how do you see it panning out, and how do you see the right now dealing with Boris Johnson? Or
the right now are concentrating on the Greta thing. I think the left are obviously, all believing in the Greta bullshit, and the right have now bought out their own, I think, German girl who's 19, who's so they're trying to push their own what's it called? Again, it's all just about, because the right can get a lot more people in if they're not clued up to people like Rebel Media, for example. People will listen to them and go, oh yeah, I know climate change is bullshit. So this news channel is correct. So then they might gather a load more people because they've got a 19-year-old girl telling everybody the opposite of what Greta's telling them, right? So I think right and left, people are becoming more. So I spoke too much since I.
That's all right, mate.
But yeah, people are becoming more aware of the whole fact. As I said earlier, right and left are two sides of one controlled cult. And I think the more people are starting to see that now. There's a lot more people saying it. So people are starting to get more embarrassed about being part of left or right. I think the left are too quiet online. The right are obviously, the left are the TV watchers. The right are the online people who want to hate and just follow the bullshit of a third party, and anything on YouTube or Facebook is true, and everything apart from a Muslim headline is fake on mainstream media, right? Because you'll watch the right, they'll always tell you that the Muslim headlines are 100% right, but anything else in the media is fake news. So I think what will happen is, I think now it's crunch time. I don't think it matters. I think they've diverted us enough. They've caused the divides. They've kept us divided. They've kept us diverted, and now it's crunch time. Like I said, as soon as US gets its next term and they get the people all voting for whoever, once that term starts, I think that's when you're going to see the downfall. The downfall of the West completely. We're nearly 5 trillion. I think we're more than 5 trillion actually in debt now. The UK, including liabilities.
Yeah,
and there's no way they can afford that. So if anyone's paying towards a pension, stop, because you're never going to get it. It's just another way of like taking a bit more money off you without calling it tax. The USA are 23 trillion, I think, or 24 trillion in debt, but liabilities brings them up to 150 trillion. 150 trillion.
you can't even surmount that in your head, can you?
Yeah, it can never, and of course it's always going up. It's always going up. So I think this is the time now. The West is going to be annihilated, and like I said, my prediction for the UK is probably the bank crash will happen throughout the West, of course. Jobs will go. People will be like, houses will be taken back. Because it's all about taking land. Because as we see with California, the reason there's so many fires in California and all of this, they're taking the land because the land's been sold to like Russian and Chinese businessmen, and they want their land now. Yeah, when people have been buying properties, the lawyers have been screwing them, and they're basically giving them a lease on the land, so they don't own the land, and then they're selling the land, and now the people want their land, so they're just burning them out, doing whatever. Exactly the same as what they done with the fire of London, right? So you can see things are starting to move where they're starting to take it now, right? So I'm to me, I think they're going to starve us out. They'll cause a bank crash. The Brexit will stop the food from coming in. They'll use that excuse, and they're going to starve us out. They've done it to Ireland some 100 years ago or whatever.
Well, not that long ago, didn't they?
Yeah, it wasn't. I can't even remember. I know they've done it. I read about it. What year was that?
Well, in back 2008 when they took on when a load of debt went.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I'm talking about where they literally done the whole of Ireland for. I think it was. I can't remember what year, but you can see the power we're giving them. Is
if you remember, there was something that. There was something that was supposed to be paid to the EU by Ireland, but it wasn't paid. In fact, I don't think it was supposed to be paid. But the fact that it wasn't paid, I think they got a right fucking in Ireland. If there's anybody in Ireland listening, just pop something in the chat room and let us know. Because I seem to remember Ireland got hit really, really bad in the 2008
James Owens, look, oh my God, doom and gloom. Shut up, mate. Sorry, mate. If you want to come on and tell us how it's all great, please do. But unfortunately, I'm a realist. I'm not here to lie. I can tell you what I think. This is only a prediction anyway. But it's got to the point. If you've been doing this for like Jason and me for over 10 years, there's a point. Yeah, we're not all doing this. We haven't all been doing this because we're not worried about what's going to happen. And the point to what's going to happen will come one way or the other. Whether it's after the next term, as soon as America in the 2020s are voted in, they get that full term. Or not, it's coming. It's coming one way or the other, right? The Georgia Guidestones had a block added with 2014 on it for some reason, and that clearly states maintains humanity at 500 million. If you look at the Georgia Guidestones, it was erected exactly 666 years after the death of the Grand Master of the Knights Templar. Yeah, the last Knights Templar, the Grand Master, exactly 666 years later, pretty much to the day, the the Georgia Guidestones were put up. Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm not talking here to scare people or to be a doom and gloom person. I'm just going to tell you what I know and what I think. Yeah. If I'm going to predict what's going to happen, like Jason's asked, then I'm not going to say what you want me to say in the chat, because what I say doesn't, scares you, or, and it should scare you. I think it's about time everyone started to scare people with what they say, because doing the nicey, look, you got to look at this, hasn't worked, has it? Because the majority of people still aren't listening.
I've had many discussions with many different people who have been on the same page as you are, and as I am, and we know what really is going on. And I've had many times I've been reassured by people. They've been saying, well, it's not quite as bad as we think it is. But as far as you're concerned, you think when I woke up on the morning of the election and I found out that Tories had won, I just thought that's the end for fucking everybody. Because I weren't on any side, but I knew that if we got fucking Tories again, we're fucked.
Yeah, because in the idea of the mindset of the UK public, the Tories are quite evil, aren't they? They're very evil. They're the evil ones.
Of course they are. Yeah.
So it kind of it'll probably sit in their minds easier as shit happens, right? They won't be so like, oh my god, I'm so
I'm so surprised that I'm being fucked up the arse again.
Yeah, but then when you look at Labour, you look at what's his face, who killed 1 million Iraqis, right?
Yeah,
Tony Blair. Yeah, it makes no odds, but in the minds of people, yeah, certainly they'll accept the shit from the Conservatives more than they will the Labour, because they expect it. But unfortunately, yeah, it makes no odds. Let's see. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Of course, I want to be wrong. I've wanted to be wrong. I've wanted to be told by my parents, my mum, oh, Mark, no, you've got this wrong, and here's why. But nobody's been able to tell me any of that since I've started this. If anyone in there wants to tell me why I'm wrong about anything I've said, then, state a fact. Yeah, I don't want to hear, oh, no, you're wrong, because I've had that for 12 years.
That's not good anyway. That's just a waste of time, innit? And
you can't have a proper discussion and you can't actually lay down a bare ass fact about something, then shut up. Nobody needs opinions. We got enough opinions out there.
Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one.
Yep, absolutely.
They stink. And they usually fucking stink. Yeah. What? I'm sort of like at like this point, and this is not to do with you or anything, but I'm at this point of, I don't. This is why I came on tonight. I weren't originally going to come on, but we have to maintain these channels. I just want you to just explain to everybody why it's important that we maintain channels like yours, like Shield Destroyer, like this, Raconteurs News, which has been going for like 4 years, and we've got, thousands of subscribers and stuff. It's so what?
I mean, I don't know. We've got to maintain these ones, and you've got to keep maintaining them and keeping them going in order to ensure that we're getting the truth out there. But more than anything, I think more people need to do it. I think we need another, if everybody in this chat was doing lives, and then they were telling everybody who was watching them to do lives. Like, if you watch some of my videos, especially the beginning ones, I was telling everyone, look, you will get used to this. It's daunting at first, sitting in front of a camera and putting yourself out there. I don't believe fame's a good thing at all, even if you become famous. Yeah, I don't think fame's a good thing, because you got strangers coming up to you on the street, and it could be like dickhead types like Tommy Robinson types, and all of a sudden, and you trying to get away from them. I don't think fame's a good thing personally. But some of these people in here might be a hell of a lot better at doing this sort of stuff than me and you, right, Jason? They might be they might be like, you know, someone who's had acting on the telly, who's had acting classes, who can, you know, just better. Maybe they got a better voice. Maybe they're smarter. Who knows? But there's going to be people out there who are going to be really good at doing this, and people are going to listen to them more than probably me and Jason, for example. But until you do it, you won't know. So I think the more people that, you know, and like I said earlier, you've got to make sure you're talking facts. If you're going to go on there and just talk because you're just going to tell third party stuff that you've, you know, heard through somebody else, chances are you're not going to get your facts straight and you won't last long. But if you do know stuff and you're sitting there and you don't really like I didn't, I mean, obviously, I promise you, I wouldn't be here at all now if I hadn't got banned from Facebook. I'd probably just still be doing the text, because I never, you know, I hate cameras, but I had no choice. But now I've done it, and because I was so like anti-camera and so sort of camera shy as such, I think I'm a good role model to say to people, look, you can do it too, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would kind of like to, but are not sure of themselves, or, you know, are scared of being in front of a camera or who will see. But once you do it, and you do it a few times, you know, I'm not saying the first time you're not going to feel uneasy, but once you do it 10 times, all of a sudden you forget about being uneasy, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, speaking of somebody who's done over 300 shows on, I have never once have I before a show been completely relaxed. Never. I'm always, like you say, I'm always
bit self-aware. See, that's the way I do my shows. Like when I'm doing a video, I don't pre-plan anything. You know what I mean? I just sit there and I see something. I go, right, I'm going to do a video on this. And that way I find it easier, because if I'm starting to pre-plan and then I'll start to get all like, and I trip all over my words. And if I try to pre-plan it, whereas if I just go natural, and I think sometimes it can be better to be natural as well, can't it? Because you're more real. If you've learned it, like on the people on the telly, Tommy Robinson types and all that, you can sort of come across, and the ego, if you do it, don't get rid of the ego, people. Yeah, it's not about wearing the nicest stuff, having your hair done nicely and impressing people. It's about the message more than anything. And I can't stress that enough. Because if I'm right, and although people in the box might go, oh, you're gloom and doom, blah, 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 blah. But if I'm right, yeah, if you want a chance that I'm completely mad and wrong, then that's a chance. I personally don't want a chance that I'm right. Because if I am right, you know, I don't want to be...
We're fucked, aren't we? Oh, my
God. Well,
God.
that's it, yeah. It's game over. It's game over. And when you look at the Georgia Guidestones, 500 million people, there's apparently 7.6 billion people. That's 7 billion people taken off the planet. Yeah. So how are you going to do that? You know, if you were planning to maintain humanity at 500 million people, how would you take out 7 billion? Now, if you look at World War II, they took out 70 million Christians throughout Europe, yeah? And you only hear about 6 million Jews, which again was a lie because they rounded them up. I think a lot of the Jew elders, especially the men, were probably killed because they wouldn't want the sons and grandsons to gather his education when they were over in Israel. So I dare say a lot of them were killed. But, you know, the whole Holocaust thing is to make sure you only remember and think about the 6 million Jews. You don't care about the 70 million Europeans, which were mainly Christians, right?
That's true. Yeah, I mean, they are the most. If you could stick a Jew in any situation, then it fucking becomes massive. You know, I understand that. I understand, and from my understanding as well. Throughout Europe at the time of the Second World War, there were only 130,000 Jews in the entire Europe.
Yeah, so if you look at the numbers, if you look at the numbers, the same I done. I looked at the numbers just before World War II and just after, and unless they had, you know, unless they were just constantly bonking in these camps, there's no way they made any sense at all.
Bonking,
yeah. But then you got the chimney in you Auschwitz, was it, or whatever it's called? And it was built in 1946 by the Polish, so after the war. The shower cubicle with the thing. It's crazy that there's so much out there that's clear as day evidence that the Holocaust was a lie. But in Germany, you still go to prison if you dare even question it.
And a lot of other places as well. Austria, I think, if you deny it, I mean,
how, where's your freedom when you're going to jail for daring to say something was something happened in a different way to what mainstream is telling us?
Yes, and they'll send you away, the cunts, the fuckers for it. They'll send you away for saying something. Saying something.
But they hate the Germans. They Zionism absolutely hates the Germans, man. They really did. They hated them. What they done to Dresden was, they're absolutely disgusting. They had babies and mothers and babies like found in where the hot ash, the roads had become so hot where they just burnt the whole place out. And we're like stuck. So as they're trying to run away, they get stuck in the tar and they die stuck in the heated tar and stuff. But they done some real nasty shit, man. Real nasty shit.
Yeah, well, Dresden itself, it would have just fucking obliterated, weren't it? For no real reason. Absolutely. Other than civilian casualties. And that's not reported upon. We don't get told about that. We don't say, oh, by the way, this bloke that you want to make man of the century, he killed more people than fucking the man of this century will do, hopefully.
Yeah, and all these guys, all these people, like even Hitler was Time Magazine Man of the Year or something, wasn't he?
1938.
Yeah. So all these scumbags, man, and that's because they're Zionists. That's why they're up there. They're Zionists.
Yeah, but what was I just going to say? What were we just talking about?
We're just talking about the Jews and the Hitler and what they really done. The number of Jews.
Dresden, yeah.
So you were saying about the number.
There is a film that is in German. It's called Dresden, and I'd won't pay, but I'd encourage anybody to watch it, just for the images that were in there, and bear in mind that those are images that they've put into a film. So, it's not we're not just talking about. So yeah, it's called Dresden. I think it was about 90 sometime. Anyway, look for it.
Dot made a good one. So if I had 15 ovens and it took 1 hour to cook 15 cookies, and I cooked 1 cookie per hour, how long to cook 6 million cookies?
well, yeah, exactly. That another one. I don't want to put any. I don't want to put any down on the Holocaust, because I don't know it. Well, weren't there, right? And there's no other reason than that.
Yeah.
I weren't there. It's none of my business. That were me grandfather's business, or whoever was dealing with our affairs at the time.
It's just common sense, isn't it? If you have a look at the 1917 Balfour Declaration, you got to say, where were the Jews going to come from? Well, they've got the land. Where were they coming from? Then all of a sudden, 1948, end of World War II, they've rounded up loads of Jews and they're all going to Israel. It's just beyond coincidence, that, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Just absolutely coincidence.
Yeah.
We've gone over time, mate. You want to slip in before we leave?
No. By all means, anyone, please do come and have a look at the videos I've got and subscribe if you want to just help people out who are trying to save you.
Well, listen, I've had one more question in chat room that I wanted to ask you. It's from Apple Charlotte, and she says, what's Mark's opinions on chemtrails?
I did do videos in Facebook. That's the only videos I've done because I didn't have to show my face. And chemtrails, like I said earlier, I don't know whether she's saying, do I believe they're contrails or do I believe they're chemtrails? In which case, they're definitely chemtrails. I'm not.
No. She said, what's your opinion on them rather than.
Okay. And my opinion on them are, as I said earlier, I think what we're doing at the moment is we're ensuring that from our soil, we're not going to be able to grow good nutritious food or maybe any food at all soon. So I think the part of me saying about what's going to happen is part of the chemtrails as well. You know, we once we can't import food, if you have a look at all our farms in England, they've been wiped pretty much. Yeah, they're all turned into offices, haven't they? They've done barn conversions and turned them into offices. People are storing cars in them now because farmers have been wiped out. Yeah, so we're not going to be growing food. So I think the chemtrails are destroying our soil. Personally, I've got, this is my personal view on them. We know they're doing something right. It could be weather modification as well, but I think it's going to destroy our soil. So we literally can't even grow our own food when they decide that we can no longer have imported food coming in here. That's my personal view, but certainly chemtrails aren't good, whichever way you throw the dice, right?
You're right. Well, as far as I'm concerned, you are completely right. The chemtrails, the contrail. We're being bombarded from all different, even from the TV or what we're doing now. That's bombarding people's brains, and it's making them have to think in a different way. Whereas if you start watching the television, they know which way they need to view that in order to be able to get something out of it. So they need to be able, and they need it to be, for anybody to get anything out of something, a story, it has to be what they already know. It's got to be what the status quo is. You know what I mean? When you get I think I watched Chernobyl a few months ago actually, before I went in hospital. Chernobyl thing, and I know that weren't real, and I knew that wasn't telling the actual story, but I still enjoyed the story nevertheless.
Yeah.
Now, what really stands out for me is that Chernobyl is now a tourist attraction. It's a place where people can go and have a look round, and they wear the suits and all that, and they go and have a look round in Chernobyl. That for me. And I also remember a few years back when they were doing Top Gear, and they were traveling towards Chernobyl, and Jeremy Clarkson was the one that ended up not running out of fuel enough, and he ended up the one in Chernobyl. And I'm thinking to myself, well, hang on a second. Just give me a second here. I thought this was supposed to be like, don't be have to grow a tree for 20 years, 20,000 years. All this stuff. How much more have we been lied to about?
Exactly. I mean, I just, you've got to, I just tell everyone that everything's a lie. You've got to just clear your mind of everything they taught you and start again. Simple as that. You can't believe a word that you've, I can't think of one war, one major event that I could say I'm sure that they told us the truth on that. And I can tell you any one that I've ever researched, I can tell you that they told us complete lie about. 9/11 should have woken people up, but it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if with the internet, 9/11, and since then all the things they've just been doing and so obvious that they don't somehow want us to wake up. And I kind of figured maybe they're trying to get the 7 billion to wake up, so they know the 500 million that are still sitting there watching TV and sucking it in are the ones that they're going to let live. I don't know,
It does seem like a little bit of a lottery that we're on, and the postcode lottery, as you can probably see on your TVs.
Yeah.
Fucking day. Yeah, well,
I don't watch telly, but I know about the postcode lottery.
Yeah, they always fucking spout it about and saying, "Oh, this is the second time I've won," or I won and my mum just won, and all this sort of crap. You just think to yourself, look, a lottery is a fucking tax on bollock. It's a tax on your dream.
Oh yeah. I was watching. I was doing a video the other day actually, just 5 points on. It was basically 5 points that truth haters can't deny, and one of them was the 1939 Cancer Act, and I didn't realise that in 1937 America got the Cancer Act. So America's Cancer Act is 1937, then we got the Cancer Act in 1939, which basically says that you're not allowed to cure cancer. But it's just 5 points that, Truth said. I'll put in there, what was it, the 1666 Esther Queevy Act. I put in there the 1627 Petition of Right, which basically shows you that tax is theft. The 1871 Act, the 1917 Balfour Declaration, and 1939 Cancer Act. See, just that little video there, 10 minutes, nobody can deny, because it's not me just making it up, is it? I'm showing them. And if people look at those 5 things, that should be a big, okay, I'm awake now.
Yeah.
It's getting people to look, isn't it? It's getting people to look.
Getting people to look, getting people to listen.
Yeah.
And getting people to accept that whatever they think the fairy tale that their life is, it just isn't. I mean, we've got social media, and so Facebook's like just full of narcissists and people that want to show you that their children, how beautiful their children are, and how many things they've been bought for Christmas, and just shit like that seems important.
If you want to get on in society today, put your lives into how many bricks you can have, and how big your car is, and how big your ego is. That's pretty much society today, and we families have just completely broken down. The family units. You're supposed to, your house should be your business, and you should be teaching your children to participate in that building from a young age to that business. And whether they go out and do another job, you're bringing back, you're all bringing back to the business, the main business, which is your home, because you're trying to make it, and you teach this to your family, right? And then your family stays stuck together. Back in the time, we'd have all had a nice big bit of land where we could have built more buildings for our family, but these days, of course, it's hard to afford a bloody bed sit, let alone a big plot of land. So they're destroying our family units completely. Everything's gone, isn't it? There's nothing natural about humanity anymore.
Do you think that's why they go for Muslims, because of the families that
I think the right, the Tommy Robinson type supporters, I think a big chip on their shoulder is because something what the Muslims do is they still. They're still a lot better at keeping their families together. They're still a lot better at going out there and starting businesses and putting all the money into one pot, as opposed to us, where we all just go out as singles and try and make it on our own. And I think a lot of the jealousy comes because you see a lot of these Asian guys with really nice cars because they've got a pot. They've got a pot where there's probably 10 of them all putting into, so they can afford the nice car, right? And the young lad out there who's, got no job or he's on the dole, he feels jealous and starts to hate on them. Oh, they're taking my job, that's why I haven't got a job. And it's just jealousy, isn't it? And it's just downright hate. They say it's not racist just because you call a certain ethnic group a religion rather than a race. It's still race. We know it's all about their where they're from and their color and all of that. It's just
it doesn't matter about the color or anything. It's the Muslim part, isn't it? They don't.
And when you see a white Muslim, of course, it's not the same for them. Of course, it's not. They're pointing at one type of person and just calling it Muslim, and it's quite. I find hate very disgusting. Anyone who's hating, it really is. That they are the traitors, because when you're hating on your own people in your own countries, just because some arsehole wants you to, you're a traitor. You're not. And I believe patriotism is a cult in itself. Flags and all of that is just another cult. But certainly I prefer to be called patriot than a traitor. and people who are going down the hate routes are traitors because they're trying to divide us. They're trying to start the civil wars. There's nothing good. I said to this guy on that one there, I said, you're hating on children. He's like, how am I hating on children? Getting all upset. I said, well, if you're hating on Muslims, you're hating on Muslim children, aren't you, you fool? Why can't you work that out? So when you and your gang are coming down to town shouting out, I hate this, and little kids are hiding inside because they can't come out to play, it's because of you. Yeah. I just find it very disgusting. I've got no respect for those people. Certainly, they don't scare me. They're gang mentality cowards. Yeah, the Tommy Robinson supporters, gang mentality. The reason they love it so much is because they're loners. They've got no friends. They're hateful. They're spiteful. They're nasty. So all of a sudden, they get in these little forums on Facebook and that, and all of a sudden they're a little gang, right? And then they can go on a Friday and get pissed, snort some coke, and all get together and go down the road shouting, "Hey, yeah, look at me, yeah, I'm a patriot." Yeah, gammon.
Yeah, gammon. Good evening to Paul, who's joined us. I'm afraid you've joined us a little bit late. We're going to be coming off. Well, whenever we can, really. If there's anything else you want to talk about, I want to stretch this out because I don't know how many more times I can do shows.
Why?
I've gone tits up a bit recently, so gears something else. What gears something to talk about?
What else? We were going to talk about. I know we sort of got through the Greta, didn't we? And the right have got theirs now. We can talk. I mean, there's so many subjects in there, but you kind of get lost on them.
You got. I don't know if you told me at the beginning, but I don't think it was quite as long as I'd been at this. And I think it was probably after 9/11 that you got into this. Now, from somebody who got into it afterwards, what are your thoughts on 9/11?
9/11. I mean, I think the best video to watch for 9/11 truth is the Toronto 4-day hearing. It's basically like a court case, really. It's just constant, just 4 days of constant evidence from, building engineers, firemen, people who were there. It goes on. It's a 5-hour video. It's called the 4-day 9/11 Toronto hearing or something.
Okay.
But without a doubt, it's a Mossad stroke, Saudi stroke, US government stroke, English government, PSYOP. It was their job. The whole thing was to start the war on terror, to hate on the Muslims, and it's one of those things that all the Tommy Robinson supporters seem to agree that 9/11 wasn't the Muslims, but they still can't get it through their heads that, well, if that wasn't them, then probably 7/7 was a false flag. The latest London Bridge was definitely a false flag. And it's like I say, they just want they want to believe every Muslim headline, but everything else is fake news. 9/11, I mean, look at Tony Blair, what he's about. Frigging what's it called, the 322 Club, Skull and Bones from the Bush. He's part of the Skull and Bones. It's Freemasonry. It's it all leads back to Zionism at the end of the day, doesn't it?
Societies that John F. Kennedy were trying to warn us on.
I think like a lot of people as well are kind of confused about John F. Kennedy, because personally, if I believe that all politics is politricks and all politicians are politricksters, then that's got to be JFK as well. Now, JFK definitely swore oath to the US. So he's not a man of power. He's purely a showman. He's there in. So if you look at Dallas, right? Do you remember the show Dallas when Bobby Ewing died?
Yes, and then he reappeared in shower.
Yeah. So you look at how that affected like so many people. Yeah, Bobby Ewing's dead, right? Now you do that with President of the United States. So they want to put the United States into same with Diana, right? Diana. They put a country into mourning, right? And it's just another psyop. It's another distraction. It's Diana, actress. She's not really Princess Diana. You know, I actually believe she's what's her name? Saint Rothschild. If you go and have a look at her picture, you'll go, bloody hell, she does look a bit like her. Like, it's one of the Rothschild women anyway. But I got a feeling it was her. But it's you know, she died under, just so happened the car crash had to be under like out of sight. Yeah, again, all these events and that, there's never any real pictures, no videos. They got cameras bloody everywhere. So you just gotta like work out, there's always an agenda. So I think JFK's might have been the agenda, that they might have had a lot of people that were kicking up and starting to work stuff out. And that was the warning. If we can take out JFK, we can take out anyone. But really, of course, he was just an actor like they all are. And I think there was a lot there, you know, but people, it doesn't matter with JFK. People can love him or hate him. It makes no difference anymore. He's not going to be doing anything to change our futures. But I just don't, you know.
No, but he did make that speech about powerful. God, what did he call them? Powerful forces within the secret societies, and talked about that, and talked about breaking them apart. He also talked about smashing the CIA to bits. I know JFK were a dickhead and he would, you know, cheating on his wife all the time. But
but look at Trump now, right? Trump's talking about the FBI. Yeah, look at Hitler. He was talking about doing stuff, and you know, they all talk about stuff. Yeah, they all do their speeches, all of them. They're always something that someone can say, oh yeah, but he said something great. Look at, you know, Tommy Robinson. Oh, but he was for freedom of speech. You know, they all say something, right? But they're all lines. They've all agendas. I just don't. If you're president of the United States, as opposed to president of the United States of America, you're purely an icon of the corporation. You don't make rules. If you believe Trump makes any rules at all, if he has any power, I'm sorry, I don't believe it at all. I don't think he makes one decision at all, because
I agree with you.
Yeah. So I think you've got to look at the same way with JFK. You know, there's no way JFK suddenly got in there, because you've got to remember, all the mainstream media that he done those for was owned. So they wouldn't put it out if he was, you know, they'd just go, oh, well, we're not going to air that.
I think it was one of his speeches. I think it was a speech. I've seen it online. Listen, people are asking me questions. I'm trying to so get out. You know, we've been on for a couple of hours. Apple Charlotte says, "What do you think of Morgellons? Have you heard of it? What's your thought on that?"
Sorry, Morgellons. No, so I've got no idea what Morgellons is.
No, neither have I. I think it's something where you get sort of things in your skin. So forgive us, but we don't really know. We don't really know what you are talking about. Uni is there. He's our mate. He's always in. He's always watching.
Uni Black Sister. Most people do believe in JFK, and it's, you know, it's not a big deal. It's not something that we need to argue about. That's for sure, because it makes no odds, does it now? But you just got to think, like, the way I look at it, they all swore to the US corporation, so therefore they're not the power men. They're not the president of the United States of America. The United States of America hasn't had a president since 1871. It's all just a big show. And I put in a Dallas bit just to show you, you know, that, you know, if you look at the White House, the White House is pretty much just a Hollywood studio. That's about as simple as I can put it for everyone. It's all just a big show, and it's all to sell you the system, isn't it? It's to sell us the system, and make it seem like it's normal, and everyone thinks, oh yeah, this is just, you know, I say to people, I could think up 100 systems just off the top of my head that's a shitload better than this one. But we don't have options of systems. We only have option of red and blue. And red and blues, mix them together, what you get? Purple. Amazing. What's their favourite colour? Oh, purple.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, and they do like the purple, don't they? They do like the
yeah,
purple. What you kept at the beginning?
Yeah. That what's the name Aid said about David Icke earlier. If you watch him, he goes on mainstream like news and that. Back in the day, big all purple suit.
Well, I'm friends with David Icke's son, so I don't. I've got this David Icke thing, whereas it's probably a little bit caught up in.
Yeah. Well, I know his work comes from somebody else's book. All his stage work comes from somebody else's book. I forget his name now. They definitely come from someone else's book. So it's just copied work anyway. But don't, like I said, I personally just don't trust anyone, because the amount of people I've trusted and thought they're great, they've turned out, you watch them for so long, they give themselves away eventually.
It's that same thing, isn't it? Again, you watch somebody, and then it doesn't matter. This is what I get about, when people say, don't watch this, it's shit, don't watch that, it's shit, don't watch this. I think, yeah, watch that. Realise how shit it is. Realise at the point that I'm realising that this is dog shit and bollocks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's hard though. It's hard because, it's so hard to just try and get, if everybody agrees to something, rather than all, going after this, that, climate change, Brexit, forget all that. We've all just got to agree the system needs to go. We need to get rid of the system. If everyone just agrees, forget about them. We don't need to argue. The system has to go. We don't want any of this fucking part of the system anymore. And then we can get down to real justice for those who have been, and we'll find out pretty quick who all the disgusting ones are, because they're cowards. They'll give themselves up quicker than that. You won't have to do much to get it out of them. They'll be shitting themselves as soon as they're nicked. But
Apple Charlotte's just popped in the chat room. She says, I do not hate or envy others who have probably worked very hard to obtain a nice home and car. Which, I agree with. People's personal property and that all should be protected. The protections that we actually need are from the people that we don't, that they won't protect us from.
The fact is, if in a humane society where we were using our brains, none of us would have to work more than 5 hours a week. Money we don't require. Imagine how many, I was saying to my son the other day on a piece of wire he gave me, it didn't fit something, but it done the same thing. And I was saying, how many bits of wire do we make across the world that do exactly the same thing? But we have 100 factories making 100 different ones, Why don't we just concentrate on making one, the best one that lasts the longest? And then we wouldn't, mostly our machines can do everything for us anyway. So the actual labour we would need to do, we could go out there and actually enjoy our lives, But we're so sucked in by this system, and we believe we need money, we believe we need governing. The law's simple, If you're going to hurt someone, if you're going to break someone's property, if you're going to, threaten people, that's against the law. That's law, You've got to have a victim, If there's no victim, then there's no crime. You can't. Soon enough, you won't be able to walk out your door in case you've done something illegal, because now you've walked out your door, you might walk into someone and knock them over and hurt them. That's pretty much how legalese works. It's all about what you might do because you went over 30 miles an hour. It's nuts, and people just accept it all the time, and they can't see past it. They can't see through it. It's a shame, but if people have got houses and cars right now and they've worked hard for it, of course, even if they haven't worked hard for it, people should be allowed. I wish everyone had a great big house and had all their family on their land and all partying together, loving each other, backing each other up, the way it should be. And once upon a time, we would have given a shit about our name, right? Our family name. We would have brought our kids up to make sure that they respected. So when they went out in society, people respected us, that we didn't want them going robbing people, because that would have given our family name a bad name in the community. But we've lost all of that, haven't we?
Yeah, of course we have. Yeah. We have
Russia. Russia. Sorry, Apple Charlotte. Yeah, Russia. So people think that Putin's going to save them. Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same people who think maybe Trump are. But I think a lot of people are still sort of, because Putin comes across as a bit of the smarter one, doesn't he? The one that looks, a lot smarter than Trump and Boris, right? And he kind of plays his part quite well because he looks smart all the time. He's always, he's got a certain way about him, Putin.
He wrestles bears, man, for God's sake.
Sorry?
And he wrestles bears. Even without a shirt, a vest on, that's pretty dodgy, isn't it?
Yeah. But Putin, like, people believe that Russia's not owned. But in 1917, they took the Tsar of Russia, and in 1918, they killed him and his whole family in a basement, yeah? Russia was taken in 1917 completely, yeah? So that's well and truly owned, no doubt about that. I actually believe that Putin might have been played by about 10 different people over the course, because if you have a look at him back in 2000, look at his pictures, and you just, you start to see different, like, similar looking people, but they don't quite look the same, It wouldn't surprise me anyway. I'm sure they do that on a lot of them, but I personally just don't trust anyone right now. We've got to build an army. I think the people who are doing the public servant auditors, they're good. If you can get people doing that and they really know their shit, when the police come along, these guys are educating the police on certain laws, but they're not really always telling them about law versus legal or how the system's working. But once the police start to understand it, if there's a lot more people doing that and the police are coming across it a lot and they're hearing the facts, because they're really the police are purely corporate henchmen. They're corporate henchmen, they're road pirates. They work for the cabal. They don't work for us, that's for sure. They work against us. They're fining us, taking our money. They're the opposite to Robin Hood. Robin Hood took from the rich and gave to the poor. Yeah, the police are taking from the poor and giving to the rich. Yeah. So I think that's the army. If we can build that, if you look at America, they're really going for it. There's a few in England. I'm thinking, I set this camera up and started doing this with the intentions of in January maybe going to do the auditing. I haven't quite decided if I've got the balls for that yet, but because you really got to know your shit or you're going to spend a lot of time in jail. But I'm going to, I do know a lot, I know law versus legal. I know that, I should be able to do it fairly easy. It's just having the confidence to first go out there. It's like going on the camera, I suppose. Once you've done it 10 times, it's not.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Well, listen, I think we've come to the end.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
It has been a very, very interesting conversation, if I don't mind saying so myself. I invited people on at the start, and Mark, aka Shield Destroyer, joined me. And from that very point, Ada came along a little bit later on and then went off again because, like little girls do, going under the bridge before the... anyway. So thank you to you, Mark, Shield Destroyer. Did you want a last bit? Just tell us your YouTube channels and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm literally only on YouTube. Oh, and BitChute I've joined, but I've got no other outlets. Just those two. Shield Destroyer. I'm trying to put videos out daily. I've started, mainly I'm trying to put out 10 to 20 minutes because I notice that if you put out longer ones, people just don't watch them really, do they? So I'm trying to, but I'm still really new to this, 3 weeks in of doing videos. So bear with me, but I'm sure you'll find some interesting stuff in them. I tried to always, I don't go out of fact. I'm only going to tell you what I've researched as facts. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you bullshit.
Really?
And I'm never going to tell you to vote for anybody.
There you go. That's the best thing. In fact, who can now? I probably won't be able to vote anymore after this. It's just going to be Boris puts a blanket on elections. You never know, do you?
No, exactly. Yeah, you never know what's coming, really, unfortunately.
So, Mark, Shield Destroyer, thank you very much for coming on Raconteurs News tonight, and thank you to everybody for joining us in the chat room. And we will be back tomorrow night. I think I'm going to come back tomorrow night. I've got no operations or shit or things that I've got to go in. You know what they did last week? They tried to put me in fucking hospital again for pain. I said, fuck, that's worse in hospital than it is here. But at least here I've got Sky and I'm surrounded by, me and my wife. So last week I didn't go in and I were all right. Okay, so I've got no between now and Christmas, so I'm going to be doing I'm going to try and put a couple of shows together between now and Christmas, and I hope they are going to be as good as the one we've had tonight. Thanks, Shield Destroyer. Thanks, Mark, for coming on at the very last minute, because we had no idea. You just popped up on thing. So a big thanks to you, mate. It's been an eye-opener, and we've given us lots and lots of different things to think about.
Lovely. All right. Thank you very much for having me, Jason, and everyone out there. Cheers.
That's no problem, mate. We'll be back very, very soon. And if you're out there and you're doing stuff and you're doing good stuff, we've got you. Take it easy. We'll see you tomorrow. Bit. Say that again? No, okay. He's gone. So it's just me now then. So I'll end the broadcast now. Thank you very much to you listening. Thanks to Adi for coming on, and thanks to Apostolic gives a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on whether you like us or not. And of course, we always like comments on these things. Not that we've been not been reading through your messages. It's just that the comments that they stay there. All right. So listen, thank you, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow.